Wake up from shadow, friends. It's that time of week again. We are here with A Woman with Hollow Eyes Season 2. This is our Invisible Sun RPG game, our narrative of these strange magic users called Vizsla and their dark pasts that they're unraveling in more and more comedic ways every week.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. So I'm Darcy Ross. I'll be your GM. I'm a community relations coordinator over at Monte Cook Games, and I'm so excited to run this for you. So let's introduce our players and get into these shenanigans. So let's introduce you folks, and then I'll tell you how you can interact with the story this week. James.
I am James D'Amato. You might recognize me as the host of the One Shot podcast or the host of the Campaign podcast. But on this show, I am Calvin Weaver, a precious, precious boy who fairly recently in his life discovered that he's a wizard. And after that, he discovered that he's some sort of ageless, all-powerful being in training or something like that. But you know what? He's in a committed relationship with his husband that he discovered was his husband after that person was stolen from his memories, and they're loving life. So there's that. You know, there are a lot of challenges in life, but there are good things too, sort of.
A great summary, thank you. And Adira.
Yeah, hi, I'm Adira Slattery, and pronouns are she, her. I play
Pronouns.
I play Shayna's mom. Her pronouns are also she, her. You might recognize me from this podcast or from my day job, who found out that I was on a podcast this week. So who knows? Shayna is a apostate, iconoclast, and as if you read the sweet, sweet development mode that is out on the Kickstarter update, then you would know canonically trans. Hell yeah. I'm trans. Shayna's trans. I like being
Trans all the way down, folks.
Yes, excellent.
Can't stop it.
Oh man, I loved that development mode. So if you haven't read it, definitely after the show, go and read it. I got chills rereading it today. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so my pronouns are she, her. James, you want to say your character in person?
My pronouns and my character's pronouns are he, him.
Excellent. And you folks can interact with tonight's story by, you'll see it on the overlay, but you can award Bene to either of these two folks, which lets them basically spend a point toward doing better on a roll. So it's a free +1. That's 100 bits. For becoming a subscriber, you can give one of these wonderful people sortilege, which gives them an extra magical die to sort of increase their chances of succeeding at something. 300 bits makes me redraw from this lovely, lovely Sooth deck, which can have some pretty powerful connotations. 500 bits gives me a chance to introduce a GM shift. That can be positive or negative. It's something about the situation changes that awards the player a joy or a despair. So we kind of have these, like GM intrusions in the Cypher system, basically sprinkle happy glitter or sad tears onto the scene. And let me know who you'd like to direct it toward and whether you want it good or bad. And finally, for 1,000 bits, we can introduce flux for the encounter. So this is going to be particularly important as we might be picking up where the dark ball, the Far Town dark ball cycle is beginning in Satyrine. So that will be particularly chaotic. So get ready for that. But we are actually going to start with a little bit of time has passed. Yes.
I do. Before we jump into the game, I have another exciting announcement vis-a-vis A Woman with Hollow Eyes, and that is thanks to Jason Robinson for laying out the Season 1 PDF. After tonight's stream, I go home and I make that Season 1 PDF available to all of the backers from the first Kickstarter and all of the backers who backed at the 2 PDFs tier for this Kickstarter.
Yay.
It is gorgeous.
It is stunning.
During the break, I will bring it up on the computer here so that Joe can show off a little bit like the cover to the audience. I am so extremely excited. Jason did an incredible job.
Yeah.
The Season 2 PDF will take a little bit, not more time than the first one, certainly. But it's going to take it'll be a little bit before it's up because we're still picking an artist that we want to do the character art for this season. As soon as we have that squared away, we're going to begin hacking away at that Season 2 PDF. But yeah, Season 1 PDF is finally going to be here.
It's
we're
incredible.
going to have it, and it rules.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
All right. please.
All right. So a little bit of time has passed. Basically, to set up the timeline, last episode, a lot of stuff happened. But you found out that you basically found out a way to get at the Deathless Triumvirate, which was a big thing that both of you were kind of interested in. And that is going to be that Dark Ball, this incredibly dangerous sport that descends upon different areas of Saturnine and possibly even elsewhere across the actuality. But it's this incredibly dangerous sport that just happens in the streets suddenly. It is going to be coming beneath the Deathless Triumvirate's very base of operations in 3 weeks, based from last episode. Sebin, our dearly departed private investigator, is marked to have to join that battle. You have equipped him with a horrible, horrible murder stone, and so perhaps he stands a chance of succeeding this time, but we'll see. We'll see. He seemed pretty like he was facing his last job. But before that, the Far Town cycle was coming 2 weeks after we last visited Vizsla. So a little bit of time has passed. I want to do a little development mode of stuff that you got up to before that happened. So basically, we're going to pick up, Sebin has been researching details about that changery that you're very interested in, and several other things. He's going to come to you with information 2 weeks after last session. But in between, what do you get up to? What are you looking up? We're going to do a little development mode here just with the Sooth deck.
Well, Shayna spends at least a little bit of time poking around at doing some more of warping time and space. Because you got to spend a little time whenever you spend points in this game. Yes.
Well, can you make it shaded a little bit this way?
Can you make it pretty sexy?
How can we make it sexier?
All right, so what else Shayna does is obviously very sexy.
Okay, good.
So Shayna goes to hit up Grin's Grammary, this interesting bookstore place that she had found a business card from back in her old house, which is going to be sexy now.
Excellent. So what do you go there with the intent of? And do you bring Calvin along? I know you two are sort of crossing paths, or are you just scoping out the bookstore by yourself?
Shayna would probably reconnoiter the bookstore a little bit and then determine whether or not she felt like it was a good idea to bring Calvin.
Very fair.
Yeah.
So Grin's Grammary is within Far Town, so you don't have to go very far. It is a chained library. It has lots of big, beautiful tomes on these heavy, magically enchanted chains. It has the air of old money about it. It's so much was really rebuilt from the war, but this has the air of something that was built pretty far behind. It's very popular, but it seems to extend deeper, and there are reaches that seem to hold more than just your general spells that you might go to. But it tends to be a really bustling place. Grin was a well-known, wealthy Vizsla from before the war. Basically, Tiora runs the establishment with a ton of assistants, and she's sort of his descendant. Okay. So yeah. Was there a name on the note, or did it just say?
It just said, I don't care about the book. I just need to talk.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. All right, so having scoped it out, what do you think? And how do we make this sexier?
So Tiora is the proprietor.
Yes.
So I mean, we could go just straight up sexy and go, Shayna goes to the bookstore, and to scope it out, she asks the proprietor on a date.
Oh, excellent. I love that. I think Tiora, what does Tiora look like?
Okay. I guess, did we define a gender for Tiora?
I think the pronouns are she, is what I saw. So let me confirm that it was she, but I believe so. Of course, I thought I got everything I needed.
Okay. Got a book person. They own this bookstore.
This is not necessarily a book person.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
but no, a person who likes books or is around books. Or
a bookish person.
Do we want to make this person horribly cursed that they have to work at this bookstore despite not being interested in books at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's very millennial, right?
Tiara is a woman. Yep.
Tiara is a woman. Okay.
Tiara's a woman. Tiara hates books.
Tiara is a woman that does not like books. So I think
Tiara is cursed as Grin's descendant to keep up the grammary.
Love it.
Yeah, man, I wonder what happened in her past that made this a thing. I think Tiara is very buff, like extremely buff. I am gonna say like a good 6'5", just a super tall, buff person. I think they've got blue skin that it looks like it's full of bubbles. They look like an ocean wave crashing almost.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like this.
And they've just got this shock of pink hair. They're always dressed, she's always dressing in like tank tops, and she's ready for the beach 100% of the time. But it's very rare that she gets to go out there and surf those, well, since this is actuality, I imagine horrible waves or whatever.
I think
she
you could still
enjoys
use
it.
the word gnarly.
Yeah, they're very, extremely gnarly.
Yeah.
And I think she's got tattoos, and I like the idea of those tattoos like being golden patches of stillness on this like otherwise sort of chaotic landscape that is her skin.
So what strikes you about her? So do you catch her through a window? Is it something about her physical presence? Like what is it that makes Shayna sort of her breath catch?
So I think Shayna walks into Grin's Grammary.
Yep.
And is ready, sort of like, yes.
You've got the
with
card,
this thing. I got
you're
this
looking
card. Don't know
around.
what's going on. And Shayna looks around and sees Tiara like behind the desk, like shelving some like books and things that are like kept behind the desk, because like they're not like currently chained or something, or they're like new arrivals or something. Sorting, and as Tiara's just facing away and just like reaching up to just like place the books, and just the like strong yet like deliberate movements that she has. Yeah.
Excellent. So development mode, despite the fact that I wanted to dive so deeply into this, there's a lot that needs to happen today. So you end up asking her out on a date. We draw the angel.
Ooh, yes.
So now, is that before you can get the words out, she has already asked you on a date? Or
Yes.
has like slipped you
I
a
think
time
so.
and place?
I think so. Yeah.
What smooth thing does she do to sort of make the first move?
I think Tiara probably just like leans against the counter, looks at Shayna, and just sort of does one of these. Just sort of motioning towards a back room with her head.
Oh, excellent. Beautiful. The task, seems to have even been forgotten what you came in here for. Perhaps, do you even return to your trying to figure out who wrote you this note, or are you happy? Do you leave with like, walking on clouds and this new contact / romantic interest?
Yeah, I think Shayna's pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She got basically everything she wanted out of it. There's some weird, like, crazy plot hook from her house, but she got laid. That's a plot hook.
Yeah, I love
her.
the gesture, like seeing Shayna nod and then she just flips from open to closed.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
God, what a champion.
Excellent. We're gonna cut there for a minute, but be enhanced. You're enhanced for now, all right?
Yeah.
Getting a lovely time.
That's how it works.
Shayna is enhanced from the Revolutionary.
Oh,
so.
excellent.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Having a great time.
Yes.
What is Calvin getting up to?
So Calvin is currently studying in his home, and I think Librelite is probably there for this. I don't think Calvin's hiding this from Librelite. He's done his best to rearrange the chaotic circle of papers from to be what they were in his memory.
Yeah.
And Sophie is there. And I don't think Calvin has fully registered the changes in Sophie yet, because Sophie's very stylish. When she was Victoria Jou's diary, she would constantly change outfits and prepare herself in different ways. Currently, her hair is dyed in streaks that match the different colors of the various suns. And she is in a sweet little summer dress made of feathers right now.
Oh, beautiful.
And she's currently mimicking Calvin's body posture as he is he's got his hand on his chin and he's walking a circle around the circle of papers. Like she's walking like the counterclockwise version of that. And Librelite is trying to make sense of this because I think this chaotic pile of papers is a task that is especially suited to Calvin's mind.
Yeah.
But the content of the documents themselves, I feel like this was the work of a Vance at one point, which is something that I think Librelite groks a little bit more carefully. So it's sort of like a couple putting together a puzzle.
A really frustrating puzzle.
An extremely frustrating puzzle.
For everybody involved.
Where all the pieces are clear.
Excellent. Let's draw a Sooth card for that. Oh, man. Yes. Banished Serpent. Beautiful.
That seems extremely thematically appropriate to the hate cyst.
More than you know, my friend.
You know secrets now.
I know secrets now. Yeah, gosh, I don't know why I look this up anymore. I know what it means. The Banished Serpent's meanings are balance, exile, punishment, and also many other things.
The opposite of horniness.
Yeah, but it is of the Mysteries family, which is of rats.
Ooh.
And that is when, so as you're, you spend, you while away quite an afternoon diving into this. Librelite is getting sort of frustrated as there's lots of other things to focus on. Librelite, did you tell Librelite about losing a weave recently? Or have you kind of just...
That might have slipped his mind. Because, oh God, I even forgot the fact that I have the secret to myself and the secret that lives at the edge of the universe, currently hanging around my neck. And that's like a big, we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, have you all just kind of kept that quiet for now? You haven't really brought that up to Librelite?
I think Calvin, it's been some time, right? You said a bunch of
This
time
could have happened earlier. We're playing out scenes within 2 weeks.
So I think one of Calvin's big priorities is, I think he hasn't worked out a way to tell Librelite, hey, not only have I been attacked by this loom, but also all of the secrets that are within me might not be secrets anymore. And there's just a lot that he's been grappling with. So I think he's working out a way to put the words together, not so much actively hiding things and dodging questions.
Yeah, very fair. I think Librelite and you have worked out a dynamic where you can tell when something's on the other's mind, but you also know that you kind of got to give yourself space. So a knock comes at the door after quite a bit of this frustrating business. And so a knock comes at the door. What do you do?
I am going to get this one.
Librelite nods and motions, gives a gesture, and you know Librelite's going to make tea. Just needs to get out of this room.
Yeah, I feel like Sophie comes with me. Sophie is similarly...
Sophie is attached at the hip to you.
Yeah, exactly.
It was someone trying to scam me on my phone.
Oh, cool.
Good.
Fun.
Yep.
Our very good friend Scam Likely.
Yep.
While we have that GM shift of despair for you personally, as someone's trying to scam you on your phone, after you are, so you're getting up to the door, you're walking home on clouds, you're having a great time, but at some point it does occur to you the reason you went to Grins after all, and you check out that card and it says something different now. So while you did not achieve your initial goal there, it says it doesn't say I just want to talk anymore. It says it's dangerous now. I will come when it's safe. They miss you.
What? The intrigue.
So anyway,
the intrigue deepens.
that doesn't immediately mean anything to you as far as I know.
No?
Okay, cool. But a new thing happened. So the angel definitely should do you a solid, more than just a really good time with this lovely book disliking person. All right, so as you get to the door, Sophie is following you, mimicking all your movements. As you open it up, what is your mannerism? Are you really flustered? Are you kind of like in the zone of I'm puzzling this out?
I think Calvin is a little bit frazzled, tired. I feel like if this knock had come like an hour or two earlier, he might be in that mode. But like he knows he has the final puzzle piece, but he feels like he's farther from the truth than ever. And like, there's part of him that wishes he had like glued all these papers down and just like ripped up the table and found a way to fold it and put it in his pocket.
Yeah.
He's kicking himself over that right now. So he's in different places.
Okay, excellent. So as you open the door, you see the furious face of a beautiful rat daughter, Sorella, who you've interacted with quite a few times before, but she looks furious at you. She's got her arms crossed across her chest. Her tail has like a cool like ring on the end or some sort of accessory, and she's like flicking it at the ground. She's looking up at you and says, "Squeak, squeak, squeak, squeak. We need to talk."
Sorella, come in.
No. She says, "You come with me. Squeak." She puts out an arm for you to take promenading.
Okay. Like Calvin is not going to be rude. And I think
Anything but that.
Vittoria will go to Sorella's other side and link arms as well.
Sorella's all right with that. And you start going on a walk.
I feel like I haven't seen you in ages.
Sorella stops for a minute, looks at you, and pulls out invitations, a stack of invitations to your wedding with her that have been made. She says, squeak, 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 squeak. This has gotten very out of hand. What are your intentions regarding me? Are we going to do this or not? So what does Calvin think their relationship was, right?
I thought they
had made an agreement.
Yeah, he thought like they were very good friends. That like they sort of met in this like chaotic thing. But she seemed to take a real shine to him, and occasionally they would hang out, and that was great. I feel like Calvin is. Oh, you know what? I think Calvin is like, I didn't propose. I couldn't have proposed. I'm married. That couldn't have happened. And Vittoria like can replay that scene because she has the like account of my entire life at this point.
So what does she show?
Yeah, I think, well, I did make the horrible thing that Vittoria works like a podcast. So that she can recount this story of this scene.
Right.
But like,
narratively.
Yeah, like a little bit of a narrator's perspective too. Like, so she recounts the interactions, and she's like, I'd really like to focus in on dialogue for a second. And like, she breaks down exactly how Calvin's words could have been misinterpreted.
Right.
The book's name is Victoria?
No, the book's name is Sophie.
Sophie.
It used to belong to Vittoria.
Okay.
So that's why I made that mistake.
All right, cool.
Good call.
I just got a little confused.
So Sophie, we're in development mode, so we'll skip rocks a little bit. So Sophie gives you that play-by-play, and Sorella explains to you that it's okay that you're married. That's far from the most unusual arrangement that is found in Saturnine. However, she's actually on the same page. Being friends is good, right? Squeak, 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 squeak. We understand one another. But if I don't get married, I'm going to be married off. So this is a bit of my cover. Things got a little out of hand. The wedding ceremony got announced. Invitations are being sent out. It's in 2 weeks, or it's in 1 week from now, right? So this is gonna happen in between. It's gonna happen after what we do today. what do we do? My family thinks that it's part of some elaborate ritual that I haven't introduced you to them, and they're okay with it because, of course, Libra light lends yourself some respectability. She says, now I understand why they thought you were all right.
Okay.
The Rat family does some digging. Sorella doesn't really care.
Yeah. I love Sorella. I am on the same page with Sorella.
She's very no nonsense. She's a very good singer. She's got a lot of business to attend to. She can't be getting bothered by
She can't be
getting married
tied
off to
down.
people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's flip. I want to flip
She's
a
a
card to
smart,
see what our
independent rat.
solution is going to be.
Yeah. I'll let you
Sorella
do
is
that.
a smart, independent rat who don't need no Calvin.
And her family is a very establishment family.
Yeah.
Elusive sleep.
Oh boy,
How is this
I
going
love
to play
that.
into resolving this situation?
Elusive sleep is the card is awesome. It's got a woman sort of.
Well, they're going to be able to see it.
It's true, but sometimes there is a podcast form.
Oh, that's true. God.
Sometimes I like to narrate.
Wow.
Yeah, someday.
Wow. Darcy's smart and I'm dumb.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Leave that in.
Elusive sleep has a woman sort of reclined in a tub looking a little concerned. The meanings are futility, worry, stress, and awareness. Someone is racked with worry. An NPC notices something important. An NPC's actions are futile. No one can sleep. The PC could notice something vital. An NPC struggles against something impossible, wasting time and energy. So that's sort of the general evocativeness. What do you think?
Okay, so I feel like instead of a solution, this somehow
Yeah.
gets worse.
Okay, cool. Into it.
Great.
Do you have any thoughts about what Sorella might come up with, or anything you want to introduce here?
Well, I think that obviously the rats are totally cool with polyamory.
Actually, we did mention that they're already cool with polyamory, but looks
Yeah.
like we're getting
Yeah.
a different draw.
Okay, exciting.
And I'll just take from the
Okay,
top deck.
so I think that works too. As you both are
Yeah.
sort of stressing out about this, what could be the solution here? Let's throw that down on the path.
I'm going to take from the top instead of the middle this time.
Okay.
And endless maze. Could this be better or worse? Who knows?
Oh, thank you, Names Equipped. I'm not sure if this made anything better. We'll find out. Oh, I know. So its meanings are, so this is a Vizsla with a lit torch moving through a big garden maze. Its meanings are journey, long spans of time, insanity, inner turmoil. A journey or a task takes much longer than expected. What about that time weave you've been playing around with?
Yeah.
It's not perfected yet, but I wonder if playing around with time might be the solution, whether that's changing the date of the wedding or saying, oh, a ritual must be, Sorella starts coming up with some ideas about, okay, I can't come up with a solution at all. Elusive sleep. I've been up for nights. We're not coming to any solutions about this, but we could buy time. What are ways we could buy time?
Yeah.
Besides buying time, which, despite the rat family's massive fortunes, Sorella will not have access to until she's married off.
Oh, she doesn't. Okay, so she needs to get the money. So she needs to be married. But
Shayna does warp time
Yeah.
this is true. So
and does like crime.
well, like I'm trying to work on a solution because here's the scenario that we have right now. Actually, you know what? This is
do
great.
crimes, warp time.
We cut to Shayna's house.
Okay, perfect.
Calvin has brought Sorella. Calvin has brought Sophie, and they are all sitting around a table. Like, let me take you to my criminal friend.
Sophie looks a little big-eyed, but Sophie's been, she's a woman of the world.
Yeah.
She's growing into her Calvinosity at this point. So yeah,
God's help Saturnine.
we jump cut to
Yeah.
them at a table. Okay, so
Yes.
obviously, Sorella needs to be married to
Yes.
get access to her fortune.
Sweet.
But I don't know if is it useful? Do you want to marry me?
Do you need a husband for long to get the fortune? How long, minimum? Can it be a wife? Are there stipulations?
Sorella takes out of a purse an enormous scroll that has the particular elaborate stipulations of sort of the contract that she needs to become sort of in her family an independent agent. It needs to be
Shit.
married off. She's checked off a bunch of strange stipulations about going to proper, boarding school, having achieved a certain social rank within the rat daughter hierarchy. There's a lot in here, and there is the segment on getting married off, which seems to be one of the last things to fill out. Yeah, what do we think? I think there is there's a time period for which you have to have been, someone has tried this before. The get married for a day, annul it, and move on. That ain't gonna fly. So it needs to be, let's say.
What are the stipulations on widowers?
Ooh, much more lax, as you might imagine. So it's you have to have lived together for 17 years at least before you annul it. If you're just going to separate. But for widowers, I think they have a really reasonable, as long as it's, as long as the sun has set on your marriage, then if they are widowed, it's still considered complete.
Cool. Yeah, Shayna touches the scroll and reads it.
Yeah, exactly. What does that look like? Is it just immediate?
Shayna just sort of touches it. There's a small little glow from her finger, and then she goes, "Okay, so I think we just gotta kill him off." The contracts are very lenient on widowers. We don't gotta kill off Calvin. We just gotta get somebody who looks like Calvin and then kill them.
Squeak. Looks like, it would have to be pretty elaborate, right? Because it has to pass certain magical wards. This is some high-level magic, so it would have to be pretty convincing.
Look, we just gotta find somebody who wants to be dead. Who there are all sorts of people that like being ghosts. So we just gotta find one of those, pay for the changery costs, and then bada bing, bada boom, we got a Calvin.
Squeak, squeak. Will this work?
It could work. It could work, but it is committing a murder.
But they want it.
Squeak, squeak. How easy is it to find ghosts or people who want to die? As there are many ways to go about dying. Say in the undersling.
Yes.
I can get you a death tonight. It is perhaps a less nice death than whatever presumably you would offer.
Yeah. So.
But wait a minute. No, they're still gonna know that I'm alive because I'm gonna continue being out there.
Squeak. My reputation might be sullied, which might violate this particular stipulation.
What if we just tell your family that Calvin split in a magical accident, and there's two of him now?
Squeak.
What?
But the one you're married to died.
If,
and this one doesn't remember you.
What if...
This slide's getting a little too elaborate. I think we should get a little more
What
simpler
if
now.
we don't get married? What if we've already been married? For 17 years. We just have to take the marriage that's going to happen and put it in the past.
Squeak. You never ask a rat daughter her age.
That's actually extremely important in this very specific scenario.
Squeak.
Can you have been married to, I mean, that's the thing. Getting married off, I feel like you're approaching like a stage where there might be some leniency for that.
But like how long is that? Does a rat daughter get married off after 1 year?
Sorella is glaring daggers at the both of you. And Sophie sort of reaches out, like gives her a little pat on the back, like it'll be okay.
Sorella. Look, obviously you've got your whole life ahead of you now. You always want to have your whole life ahead of you. And who knows what use you would have made of that fortune.
And how long is the rest of your life?
Squeak.
I can do math in my head.
What I'm saying is if we've already been married for 17 years, you're free to get divorced and start your life today.
Squeak. It is possible that she could have been married 17 years ago. She doesn't like to talk about it, but yes, that is technically going to work.
Okay.
And yeah, she's really reluctant but acquiescing to sort of this plan. Squeak. How are we going to have been married for 17 years? What's the plan there?
But again, that's just taking the wedding that's about to happen and putting it in the past.
Yeah.
I don't have like a full grip on time stuff, but I've been learning it.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Neat. What have you learned?
Well, I'm trying to master the time aggregate, and I've felt it a couple times, but I feel like it always slips through my fingers.
I haven't heard of that one. So,
Apostate. whatever.
So the thing about time is that it's kind of really hard to like put a thing into the past.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to stop time and like speed it up or slow it down in little short bursts, but 17 years is a bit much. I think you might just want to do some bureaucratic fraud.
Good old-fashioned bureaucratic fraud.
Okay.
And the paperwork can probably be sent into the past.
That's it. We go through with this wedding in 1 week, we take that license, and we send that license 17 years into the past. So on the books, we've been married for over 17 years, and we just get divorced.
Yeah.
Squeak, squeak. I will make the both of you so rich if you help me through with this. But if this goes wrong, it won't go wrong. You're a criminal. Squeak.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? Say as I flip over.
What omen?
The hunter.
Oh, God.
Shayna does not know how to send paperwork into the past.
Nope.
Yeah, but
That's
we
a
have
problem
the
for
plan.
Future Shayna.
Exactly.
Again,
And
like
future
Calvin
Shayna,
is like, yeah, we have.
She's a patsy.
I really, really like that we have the plan, and that's good enough for Calvin.
Oh, yeah. That's the one good thing about this horrible place. The hunter. So I think as we leave this scene, we're going to get some omen of how this might turn out, right? This is the hunter. It's a woman in wild gear with a strange like gun and stuff, and a panther following her.
Also, definitely the first time we've ever pulled this card.
I think so. Its meanings are nature, death, conflict, survival, seeking a goal.
This is what happens when you know how to shuffle circular cards.
Jeez. A hunter in the ticking forest very likely seeks Eric's hounds, or they seek her. Cool. So persistence, pursuing a goal. This is
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, so we close out on that development mode scene, and we are, yeah, so anything else you needed to resolve? Otherwise, you folks are going to be getting a message from your dear friend, Seven here.
I mean, I think what we'll have to do, as far as the figuring out Calvin's stuff, because that seems like a big thing.
Yeah, do we want to return to that circle puzzle thing?
I think we might return to... you meant the hate cyst thing.
Yeah. Calvin's stuff.
Yeah.
Calvin, you got a lot of
Calvin
stuff.
does have a lot of stuff.
I meant the fact that he could find out his secrets and he needs to like sort of go over that with Librelite.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that's in the works for the regular session?
In terms of learning like what's in that locket in
Yeah.
Sophie, you should bring that up with. You think you know what's in that stuff, James,
Sure.
and you do not.
Yeah, I have no
Calvin
idea
does
what's
too.
going on.
But if you're going to bring that up with Librelite, we can play that out a little bit of like what his reaction is.
Yeah, so let's save that for like the end of the session.
Sure.
Then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. All right, so you have even more mysterious notes coming from that Grin's Grammary.
Shayna starts writing them down. What are they saying?
Right. So it's just the thing I gave you the last time that
okay.
it's dangerous. I will come when it's safe.
Okay.
They miss you.
They miss you. Yeah. Interesting.
So that's very fascinating. But it happened only when you went into the library. So
Yeah.
yeah. Cool. So maybe a day or two after that, you two get a message from Seben to meet somewhere. How does Seben contact you? He's a very secretive kind of ghost person.
Let's see.
How do we get you together?
Yeah. How does a noir detective contact people? Noir detective ghost.
I think that it's just like a small boy runs up to you, hands you a coin, and goes, "Sir, I think you'd quite like to play the slots today." And when you're right in front of some sort of game parlor, you go in, you play the slot machine, it pops out with a note, you go to a clearing where someone's left a dog barking, and you just sort of follow a conspiracy.
Yeah, I love that.
That's really good.
For you are just sitting at home, drinking your coffee in the morning, and you like turn towards the window, and through Venetian blinds, whether you have Venetian blinds or not, like you turn and all of a sudden everything is in black and white. And like you look around your home and you see on the wall, the shadow of the Venetian blinds have spelled out a time and location. So Calvin spent probably hours chasing down different leads to get this information, and you got it in 2 seconds looking through your window.
Awesome.
Feels appropriate.
Yep. So it's a meeting time and place, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Where does he have you meet? It's some drinking establishment or like kind of refreshment or prosody. Some kind of, any thoughts? I don't think we had any good ones so far.
Zeros?
Let's set it at zeros.
Classic.
It's classic.
Zero.
Excellent. For any major business, you want to go to zeros. The information that's bequeathed to you sort of gets you to where zeros is right now because it moves throughout Saturn.
Right.
And it has a strange, like neon-looking sign above it. There's sort of puddles of water in the cobblestone, sort of reflecting that neon sign. And there's sort of an old-fashioned wooden door outside.
Yeah, I love the idea that like we both got to this alley and there was nothing there. Like, and then slowly like these neon lights flicker up and light up the puzzles, the puddles, and we're kind of like bathed in neon light in front of this door.
Perfect.
Zeros rules.
Zeros is great. Excellent. So you enter Zeros, and it's kind of an early part of the evening. It really hasn't started hopping yet, so it's kind of quiet. There are some strange little alcoves you can go into. There's sort of a main bar with the main bartender, and there's some like people sitting at tables right now. Let me pull out some NPCs who could be here because, of course, there's some cool NPCs. You, of course, see a little bit of kind of smoke that smells just like Sebin's weird ghost smoke coming through one of the little alcoves, so you know where to go. But you also see, let's see, who do you see? Can you both make me perception rolls real quick?
Oh, yes.
Something to figure out how well do you look here.
Ooh, I got a 10.
Ooh, nice.
I only got a 3.
Okay, excellent. So with a 10, you see why it's the Dremenine, the human-sized anthropomorphic beetle who spied on you folks and reported on you in the Notion again.
Yes.
So you see Dremenine with like a big cigar and a glass of good whiskey trying to look really small in the corner as he watches you come in. There's also a loud, reliable taxi driver called Fast Good Safe. She seems to be yelling at a charming maker who's really like white pale, Pythexia. You can hear them sort of shouting and using their names, taking a bunch of notes, and they seem to be arguing about the best ways to navigate this city. So Pythexia and Fast Good Safe, those are from John Dorflinger and Kyle Marcus, thank you. And you, of course, see Dremenine.
Yeah.
So trying to look very invisible with one of those little note papers. You know where to go for your friend. So you don't see.
Yeah.
You're like, there's a lot of strange Bisley here.
I smell the memory of cigarettes, and I'm like, oh, Sebin's here.
Exactly.
Oh, all right.
Ooh, GM shift.
Yeah, GM shift is the performer's food arrives.
Yay, food. That's great. While we're here at Zeros.
Hello, yeah, we'll send somebody right to the door to pick it up.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Thank you, Joe. You rock.
Thanks, Joe.
Ooh, yay,
okay.
Joe.
All right. What do you do?
I don't know. I don't think Shayna reads the Notion.
Probably not.
Calvin does, though.
Yeah, Calvin does.
Yeah, and Calvin saw the article about the two of them. Yeah.
But doesn't know who wrote it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think Shayna would probably just go, do you know that bug guy?
What bug guy?
She points.
I feel like he's actively trying to hide.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very not subtle at all.
So
slinking down the antennae.
Yeah, I kind of
falling.
feel like he's got a copy of the Notion, like in front of him, but he doesn't realize in the front of it
Oh.
is a picture of him for his byline.
Yeah.
The writer from The Notion?
You read The Notion?
Who doesn't read The Notion?
I don't read The Notion.
Sometimes you get in The Notion.
Joy.
Yeah.
I was being sarcastic, Kelvin.
Oh.
You do get joy, though, because you're really excited to meet somebody from the Notion. Excellent. You also got joy from development mode.
Ooh,
Sorry,
yes.
I'll just,
A lot of joy from that
before
development mode.
lots of joy. Yep. And yeah, I think that's it
Yeah.
for now. Cool. So you have joy to meet this Notion character, but you're here to visit Seven. So do you approach him, or do you sort of? He's clearly trying to hide.
We don't have time. We got, I mean, I would love to meet a reporter from the Notion as much as you, but like,
We shouldn't be talking to reporters ever.
why not?
They report on the things that you do.
Yeah, free press is part of a functional society.
It's also evidence.
Yeah, I guess, but the press doesn't arrest people.
A tendril of smoke forms the shape of a finger that crooks that a hand that crooks its finger toward the place where Seven is.
Yeah, we'll
is set
get to
up.
you.
It flips you an unkind gesture and goes away.
We've got limited time. We'll deal with the Notion later. It's fine. I mean, maybe they'll still be here. We'll still get to meet them.
If this goes poorly, I'm breaking that Bugman's exoskeleton.
Eep.
We have got to talk about your manners.
Start
Is
at 7.
Sophie with you, or did you leave Sophie behind on this
I think
more covert operation?
Sophie is behind on the covert operation. Yeah.
All right. There are big, beautiful velvet sort of curtains that siphon off the area where Seven is the sort of bench that Seven's at. He's sort of still got his like lapel up and from a jacket that kind of still has rain on it, all ghostly, of course. And he is smoking a cigarette. He puts it away. He almost puts it away in a cigarette case, and then he sets that cigarette case down and just ashes it on the table. It kind of goes through the table a little bit, but it's fine. Have a seat.
Calvin sits down. He puts on his serious face. This is a serious time.
Shayna, what do you do? How are you
Shayna
operating?
looks at the ghost cigarettes.
Yeah.
Do they have nicotine in them?
Not that one. You don't want that one. I can get you some nicotine ones.
No, I'm good.
Cigarettes can kill you.
Ghost cigarettes, more so.
Everything can kill you. I could kill you. You could kill me.
Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of that's very unlikely. Cigarettes have a very specific agenda. I don't want to have this discussion right now. There's important information.
Absolutely. I need to practice Seven's awesome noir voice, but I cannot do it as well as you.
It's a little nasal.
It's a little
Yeah,
nasal. It's going to
see?
sound so bad. Please, if you could monologue him telling about he has information for you. It wasn't easy to get, etc. And then I will let you know what that information is. So you were looking for information on the changery.
You know, I
That's
figured
what you were looking for, and he already hooked you up with your information.
I figured doing one last job would be easy, especially one looking up a changery. They're all on public records, all written right into the unbelievably Byzantine bureaucracy of this beautiful city we call home.
Most of them are on public records.
Exactly. Most of them. There are a few old ones that got grandfathered in. I'm talking pre-war stuff. These were around since goodness knows when. Probably had some kind of signature right in the legacy themselves. A lot of the changeries that operate these days have standards, rules, regulations, all baked into the foundational articles that started those businesses. A few, exist beyond even that. And that's what we're dealing with. Of course, the list of those changeries in this city is a lot shorter, but that means there's less information overall. Calvin, I'll be honest, if I could charge you more, I would. But this was kind of as a personal favor. Don't get me started. Not like I was going to spend those orbs anyhow.
Yeah. Sebin pulls out of a sort of a box from below. He sort of sets this kind of like ornate chest about the size of like a loaf of bread or something. And it's got all kinds of strange metal fixings on it, and seems to have what clearly looks like sort of magical runes of some sort. He flips a little latch on it and opens it up, and it's kind of cushioned like something very valuable, and sort of has that velvet look to it. And there are two little like globes with a stopper in them. So two little like glass kind of vials with quite a good bit of liquid, right? Maybe 50, 75 milliliters or so. And they actually look two different colors. One looks kind of a lime green, and the other one looks a little bit like kind of a lilac color. So lime green and lilac. These old changeries, like everything from pre-war, there's a lot of work went into locking up what was in the past. It's going to take a lot of work to get in. I can get you the place. The changery is fine. It is. Let's give an NPC. Whose is it? It is Dendon Dondundin. That's really hard to say. Thank you for that, Alan Linick.
Oh, Alan screwed us over. Thanks, Alan.
Yay.
Dendon Dondundin. A swirling ball of dust with a friendly voice. They're very excitable, but it's their changery. But there's a sort of an old bricked off part of it. That's the older part of the changery. It is very, very magically warded, and however, these two vials will each of them get you past the wards. It won't do so unscathed, but I promise the effects wear off. Mm-hmm. You want to use the green one first. You'll know when you've passed that first ward, and you want to use the lilac one getting out. So green in, lilac out. I don't know what you'll find back there. You don't want to know what I went through to get you this. I wish I could have gotten the information myself, but to be frank, I'm putting enough of my life on the line, what little is left. So I have a way in or out. It's up to you if you want to brave what's in there. I'm not sure I would.
I think Calvin and I'll be fine.
I appreciate it, Sebin. Is there anything else that I can do to help you?
Well, it would be lovely if you lived long enough to actually, stick it to the Deathless Triumvirate.
I'm not even sure I can die.
You can.
I mean, yeah, but I get over it.
Yeah.
One way you can make this a little easier on the three of us would be to strike today. I know that doesn't give you much time to prep, but I consulted some charts, and those old wards are at a bit of an ebb in the current magical flow.
Strike the changery today?
Mm-hmm. Today, before sundown.
Okay.
Only one problem. Remember that little far town cycle of Dark Ball I told you about?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It will be well within that district. So you would have to brave Dark Ball itself to get to it. Now, you could avoid the combatants. You're not required to be in there, but you won't be able to get back out of the area until sundown.
Would we be enrolled?
Nope. You would be free agents. You could join one of the teams, as many people do. You could try to not be noticed, which I would highly recommend. It is the gold, the Nightside Gold team, and the red team facing off today.
What team are you on?
I will be. He looks at his thing. I'm going to be. Rolls his eyes. The Nightside Pale.
Nightside Pale, but I thought they're not even competing. So it's a 3-team event, and one of
Not today. My match is in a week.
Oh.
Ah, okay.
At the Deathless Triumvirate. Mm-hmm. This is right here in Fartown.
Okay.
Right around that changery.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's go do it.
So it's just a trial run. And wait, but this means during your event that we can help you, right? If anybody can just walk into this dark ball
Those are the rules of Dark Ball, yeah.
You could absolutely be helping me if you wanted to waste valuable time that could be spent taking down the Deathless Triumvirate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next week's match is itself. Today, strike the changery or leave it alone. That information will not be easy to get again.
Let's hit this changery. We gotta. I mean,
Sure.
You don't have to.
I want to introduce you to somebody first.
Sure.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. We've got a little bit of time.
You've got daylight left.
All right.
I should tell Librelite that I'm doing this. Calvin is going to pull a. He's going to try. I'll spend the thing. He's going to pull a tiny silver bird just right out of his finger. And he whispers in its ear, and it like flits away.
Okay, excellent. That's you telling Librelite?
Yeah, that's me. Like I'm informing Librelite that I am.
Gonna be late for dinner?
Yeah, that's the code. I think it is.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be late for dinner. I'm gonna be late for dinner. Remember what we talked about.
Ooh, cool.
And that means that it is pertaining to missing memories.
Yep. Excellent. What about you? Who do we go introduce ourselves to?
Apollo.
Apollo, wonderful, yay!
Yeah.
So this is you. So the two of you start walking down toward this strange little part of Far Town that has very mundane-looking, kind of shadow-esque houses. But at the end of the cul-de-sac, there's an enormous sort of rock cave.
Yeah.
With a big, dark, sort of impossible to see through bit of blackness within. It's very ominous looking, Calvin. I'm going to draw a new card to sort of reflect this new scene. Messiah, beautiful. Very
What?
cool.
Another new card that I've never seen in my entire time playing this game.
The new
They breed.
Shuffling is, they might be breeding, or shuffling is a very powerful and lost art that we are actually actively here rediscovering. So it's a woman with this strange dagger on her necklace, and its meanings are change, salvation, familial love. And it is of the, whose heart is that? That's visions, so not your hearts.
Yeah.
So, what do? You're outside Apollo's home.
We're going to go in the cave.
This place is very cute. I like the colors. I'm sorry, I guess I didn't expect a friend of yours to live in like such a normal place.
We're going in the cave.
Cut to looming cave. It's you're watching it. You can hear the sound of like cold waves crashing on a rocky intertidal. Shiver runs down your back as you look upon it.
Of course, the cave. All right, I'm ready for whatever, I guess.
It'll be fine. You're a huggy person. Let's go.
Excellent. As you pass through that darkness, it takes a little longer before it starts to lighten up. But inside is a cozy, eclectic little like hearth and little armchairs and things. A place that you entertain, like nice rugs on the ground, and sort of a strange hallway behind. With a strange sort of filter over it. As you're watching, that hallway lifts a giant eyelid to reveal a big eye behind it.
Well, of course, as Shayna's watching, Calvin is appreciating like the interior decoration.
Yeah.
This place is lovely.
Why, thank you. Forget the voice, yeah. So the voice booms from all around, and a tentacle, of course, comes out, a big lovely arm sort of gives you
Shayna nuzzles up with it.
a big hug, and one sort of extends toward you, but does not sort of hug without asking, are you a hugger?
I
Is
think
that a nod?
Calvin like instinctually nods because Calvin absolutely is a hugger.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe not in this specific situation intentionally, but he already answered with the answer that he normally gives, so
Yeah.
he's in this now.
So multi-coiled but gentle wrap, sort of appendage wraps around you and
Calvin
gives
does
you
the back pat hug.
Yeah, excellent. You must be Calvin Weaver.
I am. Yes.
Please have a seat. Shayna,
Yes.
I know our visits are often a bit more business than pleasure these days.
Yes.
Is there something I can do for you?
Well, we're going to be breaking into one of the old changeries.
Well, which one? You give,
The location.
Dendons.
Dendons.
Pre-war. The
Yes.
old changeries. If you're looking for something pre-war, they tend to have been scrubbed.
Yes.
We've got a way in.
Yes.
And I just need to get at the old records. There were operations performed that aren't up to modern standards. And I think some of them need to be answered for.
What sort of operations? You've never actually explained this to me.
I don't know if it was entirely consensual. And that's kind of what I have to look up.
Okay.
Memories taken out, not just a form changed, but actual parts of someone's life removed from them, completely inaccessible.
You just said not entirely consensual?
Exactly. That's not what changeries are supposed to be.
No,
that's
that's not.
exactly.
That's the exact opposite of what changeries are.
That's what I said.
Apollo says, none of that would fly in a modern changery, but I can't speak to what might have happened pre-war.
And that's the issue. If this is something that they decided they had to do, that's fine. But neither of us know if that's the case. So I have to go in there and I have to find out exactly what happened so that I can figure out the next step.
Yeah. I feel like your next step is if anyone who's involved who's done that ridiculous perversion, that they should.
You just give me their name, Apollo says. That is
Yes.
what you do. The whole cave is kind of rumbling with like blood that's pumping faster, or hemolymph. It's hard to say with this thing, but there is a quiet and powerful fury happening around you.
Yeah, Shayna is basically shaking with how angry and she is. There is this just there is this just persistent and low crackle of flame that is just pervading how just she does not like this.
You feel the same way I do. The good news is if this operation did happen, if we found out that somebody actually did do this, if there are records still, we'll know who did it and we'll know who was affected. Yes. There's a lot of wrong that can be righted if that's the case.
Yes.
Apollo, what would Apollo do to whisper to you privately, or in a more intimately sort of lean it? If I was a biped and I was going to tell you something, maybe I'm not trying to make Calvin not hear, but something very important and intimate.
I think Apollo would snake a tentacle just sort of right around and in front of Shayna's ear in this very sort of listen sort of way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as though gives the feeling of that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Apollo whispers to you, these old changeries, there might be records of yours. They were shared across all the old changeries.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this. I understand if there's stuff that's tied up in it. This is something that I could do alone.
No, No. This is just another one of the awful and terrible things that this society has caused to happen in the name of goodness and peace. This is a violation, a blasphemy.
It's certainly not right.
Apollo says, I assume you have a way in or have a plan. I can lend you what I have.
Yes, we were given some potions to get through some of the wards. Both of us can know the secret of the mage's path.
That only gets us so far, though.
Yes. And it won't help us once we're inside.
My name still carries some clout with those types. Carry a token of mine that you are on, that you are looking in the regular records section for me. It will unlock certain records that are tied to my name as agents of me. That should get you at least past the front door, let's say.
Good.
Beyond that, they would not let even one such as myself pass. So what are the tokens that Apollo gives you? Something maybe shiny and
I think they're like polished shells.
oh, beautiful.
Ooh,
Like
yeah.
a mother of pearl kind
Love
of.
it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Two of the same type of shell, but with very different forms as they've been sort of weathered differently. One, it's got a very rough, kind of barnacle encrusted side and a very beautiful, smooth mother of pearl side.
Shayna sort of adjusts her outfit with her modular clothing and puts it on like it's like the top of a tie or something.
Oh, cool. I love that. Excellent. Did you tuck it in a pocket?
Yeah. I mean, Calvin has a empty space on his vest that's next to the glass or adjacent to the glass button.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
we'll just put it on that opposite side.
All right. Apollo seems to test the air with a little tendril and says, today is an auspicious day to go. Inauspicious, of course, for all the changeries, but auspicious for you.
How so?
I know some of the wards on those old sectors. They will be a little eased today.
Maybe we're not the
Someone
only
was
people
right.
that have this complaint.
Possibly.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, I can't thank you enough for helping us with this.
It is a matter very dear to myself. If such a travesty has occurred, please come back when you know.
Of course.
And stay safe. My token will get you as far as it can, but
I'm,
no
of course, as always, in your debt.
Tendril waves at you. It's nothing. It's nothing. And yeah. Anything else of Apollo, or are you gonna?
Yeah, I think Shayna would just sort of move for us, the two of them, to walk out.
Yeah, I think just head out.
All right. I think we will. So you will have to get into the sector. So the changery is not accessible right now because Dark Ball's happening. So this might be a good time to give these performers some pizza as I plot some great flux for you to throw at them and some other NPCs who are going to be brought in the absolute chaos, the
Dark
roiling
Ball
chaos
players.
of Dark Ball.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So, and if you give me any, in chat, like give me some weird scenes or stuff to throw in. I would love to know what absolute destruction and mayhem is happening.
Yeah.
Is coming upon the Far Town cycle of Dark Ball. So we'll be back in a few.
Behold us! This piece of art you might recognize as Ari Aloha was drawn last season by Corinthia, who actually visited us in Chicago and dropped off the original for us to house in the studio. So you're going to be able to see this as part of our set from now on. I think we can relax and move back. And that's just one of the many exciting pieces of art that we're going to be showing off to you before we get back to the show.
Yeah. So we are next going to, oh my goodness. Sorry to scare anybody. We should have warned.
I'm not sorry at all.
I'm half sorry.
So we want to show off some of the beautiful stuff coming into that backer PDF. So Joe, if you could toss some of that up there. All right.
All right. That is the cover page, I believe, for the Woman with Hollow Eyes Season 1 PDF. That used the amazing character art that we had created that season, along with just Jason's aesthetic talent. It's incredible. And the interior looks just as good as this. So this is a example of an interior spread. As you can see, Corinthia's art is also incorporated into this book, along with Sarah's. It's just really great looking and looks incredibly professional. I am so sorry that it took this long for us to put this together, but I think the results are worth it. All of the major things that we, after revising and looking at things we wanted to include are included. Some people have pointed out at various stages that there were things left out. That's because we spoke to those specific backers. Some of the concepts that they came up with didn't translate as well to book. It was more of a conversation, collaboration with Darcy.
Yep.
So we reined in the scope of that, but everything that we felt would be really easy for people to use, we incorporated into this book.
Yep. Very exciting.
Cool.
I think it'll be really nice to use in your games. Yeah. Want to do that?
Yeah, I think it'll be really nice.
It's super cool. So look forward to that tomorrow sometime.
Yeah, very exciting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I wish I had it for when I ran this, instead of these manic spreadsheets, right?
Hand-drawn notes.
Oh my gosh. Someday I'll take a lot of pictures of some of the especially season 1, absolute mad scrawlings that came out of this.
Because Invisible Sun's already dealing with some wild stuff, and to just have the unhinged, frantic quality of show material.
Yep. It's a mess. It's a beautiful mess, just like this game and this area. So we are going to. Sortilege is on the table. A sortilege to the chaos of Dark Ball. That sounds delightful.
Oh, I like the idea of rolling that along with somebody else's roll. We don't get to choose when you add sortilege, which gives you extra shots at flux.
Ooh, I see. Oh, I like that. That could be great. Great. So let's see. Do we have an extra die on the table? Okay, cool. So. This precarious.
Put it in the hand.
This is going to be fine. This is totally
you
going to
got
work.
it?
Everybody on stream needs to believe in me. You're not believing hard enough.
I believe in Darcy. I believe.
Clap your hands, everyone.
Oh, come on.
All right, that is the flux of Dark Ball in action. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna open up on you folks being outside a Dark Ball. So I'm gonna remember to use that for some action, and I think it'll automatically use flux whenever we do it.
Oh, okay. I like
think,
that.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's Dark Ball.
So yeah, if you decide to spend it, it introduces a flux, but we also roll it, and we would get the benefit of whatever it rolls if it's helpful.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. So you are in Fartown, but I want to know what poor district, what poor specific. Is it the magniloquent moth? No, that's not in Fartown.
They would have been able to pay to move it. I'm sure Dark Ball's unpredictable, but it's not here though.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. So Fartown. I think we are outside.
I think absolutely name's equipped. Absolutely.
What did they say?
If it rolls 10, is there double flux?
Oh,
and
of
yes, of course.
Always double flux.
Are we outside? So there are many changeries around here. understandably, but they're sort of scattered around. Zeros pops up, but that moves. All right, so are we outside
So this would have to be
Grin's Grammary, that poor bookstore, the Vancian campus, or the Goetic Hall of Records?
I'm going to argue for Grin's Grammary
Yeah.
And it kind of
because that employee can't leave the bookstore.
Yeah.
So we've got a semi-romantic interest, like bit of suspense that we can play with there, and that rules.
Tiora, poor Tiora. All right, so is there anything you folks get up to as you're walking toward the changery? So you're prepping yourselves. You're mentally super pissed off from visiting Apollo. You've sent the message to your husband. What do? Are you just like centering yourself, trying to get ready to face this place?
Just sort of centering, getting ready, and then would generally vaguely notice the neighborhood we're in. Mm-hmm. Oh, the bookstore's here.
The bookstore is here, you say, but you can kind of see that it's actually past these weird have you ever seen like the devil's corkscrews sort of things? They're bits of old barrows that have been fossilized. They look like weird giant pillars of corkscrewy business. There's a bunch of pillars of those sort of in front of your path, and you can see that the air sort of shimmers a little bit in front of it. And that bookstore is right behind the line of what has been erected as the Dark Ball Arena.
Oh.
Yeah, so let's look at the Hidden Moon. You can hear, it sounds like everything from beyond this little, the sort of, the edge is kind of muffled, like, and you have ideas about why that might be. So Hidden Moon has a strange big tower in front of it with a bunch of fiery, what would you call these? These are like
Braziers.
Braziers, yeah. New beginnings, insight, intuition, foresight, looking ahead, and potential danger. And it is of the Secrets family, which is the both of you actually. No,
Yeah.
just Shayna.
Yeah.
Shayna and Wayne. So this is going to be in operation for the rest of the session.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So I'm enhanced for the rest of the session.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not going to use my posse power to ignore that card.
Excellent.
Wow, okay. Picky.
All right, potential danger. So we see, so you can feel that there's this magical energy, very, very strong, emanating off of this weird wall. It seems like it doesn't extend infinitely far up, but you highly suspect that jumping over the wall would have other dire consequences. And of course, Grin's Grammary is right there, just beyond. I think the Hidden Moon has a bit of potential danger, though. So I think what you see is stampeding across the sort of walkway is a team of players that are in the, sort of gold and blacks, and you see like three of them sort of leap onto a Vizsla in this very, very like rich red outfit and sort of red streaks in their hair. The red player has this like extremely, extremely magical looking empty space that seems everything's distorted around it. It's like they're holding like a two-dimensional cutout into space.
Like an event horizon.
Like an event horizon. It looks really.
Vanta Black.
Yeah, exactly. But all of reality is sort of warped around the edges. But they're holding onto this ball, and you see three gold and black sort of bedazzled Vizsla leap onto that player, and one of them pulls out this long, jagged, awful dagger, and the four of them sort of topple behind out of view. But you can see that clearly, like, deep violence is happening, and the dark ball is in action. So what do? If you pass this threshold, you will be part of the game. You are fair game to be.
So that looks like a good time.
I guess for certain definitions, Calvin like kind of nervously cracks his fingers. He straightens out his vest and coat. He very quickly like moves his fingers through the air to do a check on his aggregates, and of course one finger moves too quickly because he's missing an aggregate. Oh shoot, that's right.
Everything okay?
Yeah, just it'll be fine.
Did you not get your...
Not yet. I mean, I haven't talked to my husband about it yet. He told me not to fight that person, so I've kind of been avoiding it until I can get this evidence, and then we'll know what's going on.
Honest communication is the best way for a good relationship.
Yes.
This is why I don't have relationships.
We have a system, and it works most of the time.
A system.
Yes.
Is the system called talking?
I mean, talking does happen. We just got to figure things out first. Like in this situation, I believe that this person has committed or perpetrated a terrible crime against him and against, I guess, the universe.
Wait, did the person who took your aggregate the same one who did the...
Maybe. And that's what we're here to find out. If that's the case, I feel it is within my rights as a husband, as a person, Visley, and as a guardian to kick their ass. But until...
Do we have a name?
But you have a tracking spell on them.
I don't have a name, but I know where to find them.
Okay.
Which is better.
What are we going to call him? The person?
The loom.
My neighbor told me about that.
Small world. Yeah, I don't like them.
That
Looms
makes
are
sense.
bad. But yeah, I'm ready to get in there. Let's do this.
Fuck it.
You step through, and as you do, I pulled the card Vizier. It is a nemesis.
Oh,
it is
Jesus.
specifically a nemesis of notions, which you might notice is Calvin's. Pretty much the worst card that could be drawn for Calvin. So you are, I think, double diminished. You are just regular diminished, which means you're sort of evened out right now.
Yeah, because of my...
Exactly. So as you step through, you're all ready to go. You are like in kind of combat mode. You look very ready. Even Calvin is kind of psyched up. But as you step through that barrier, you notice that there is this is going to be a GM shift. Despair to both of you. By the way. Whoop. It's like you where you anticipated moving through some sort of like energy field. You feel this sticky film coating you as you come out, as a powerful curse was sort of blocking, was ready for anyone entering this area. So you, both of you are going to lose an ability. You are losing a weave. What are you giving up? It could be a forte ability. It could be some sort of apostate ability. But it's got to be some sort of crux-based important thing.
Give it up just forever?
Unclear. It's at least gone right now.
Well, I think I found the most thematically appropriate aggregate to give up, and that is freedom.
Freedom! Beautiful.
Wow, perfect.
God, the remaining aggregates I have, by the way, for people keeping score at home, is thunder and infinity. So I'm going to be making some noise today.
Give up.
Yeah, so I think also as this happens, this is Vizier. This is very bad. This is an extremely, extremely bad card. So I think you come out, you are cursed, you feel bits of you withering away, bits of your magic being stolen from you. And just as you do so, a three-headed lizard thing starts coming out on thick, beefy arms, long tail, long stiff tail, and it is got big, weird red eyes and is clearly like slavering, and it looks like it's whatever liquid is coming out of its mouth is viscous, but also like red with some sort of blood. This is a horrible creature that is growling at you and ready to pounce. So we are going to be entering combat. Let me know what you are giving up.
Sheena's giving up her extra spells.
Oh no! These are good spells too. It's going to be a bummer. You feel them ripped away, and the both of you feel sort of are not going to be able to make the first move as this strange three-headed lizard thing, a native of the red, which you usually do not see in a place like Fartown, starts opening its jaw, like just really weirdly distending down. And you can see that a big, thick tongue out of each of its heads is starting to lower, and you can see that some sort of horrible gland is spewing gross stuff at you. So why don't you make me probably a dodge out of the way roll. So this is a dodge roll. Let me know if you're spending any points.
I will spend a point of movement.
Okay.
Shayna is going to use her movement vex.
Okay, perfect. So you're going to do a little worse at this. You're looking for, it's a level 5 creature. So
Cool.
I rolled a 9.
a 9, that'll actually
And
do.
that's -2, brings me to 7, +1 is back to 8, so I'm good.
If I hadn't have chosen this as the point to burn my vex, Shayna would have dodged because she has the
Perfect.
skill in dodge, but she doesn't. She misses.
Excellent. So, and that's a piece of armor you're wearing, right? So how does the armor
because
slow
of
you?
the changing clothes.
Yeah, the changing clothes. Okay, so tell me how this. So you dodge out of the way. You're sort of covered by this. You feel that freedom eke out of you, but you've still got infinity. You've got thunder. Do we have? Let's get that mic readjusted a little bit. So you.
Better, Joe?
Ooh.
Something popping.
So at
it
the
touching?
box,
One moment. We have a flux going on over here.
yeah, we're adjusting for technical difficulties.
Hello, hello, hello? Hello, 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 hello?
Interesting.
Let's change wires.
Cool.
One sec, folks.
Hey,
Bum,
folks,
bum, bum,
we're
bum, bum.
gonna take a moment for technical difficulties, and during this time, Jersey, why don't you just describe another one of those terrible monsters to
Oh,
us?
good. The next one that you'll see coming around the corner
Jesus.
is a Jeremal. It is a sleek, six-legged hound whose feet don't touch the ground. It's a native of the Gold Sun, as you notice that both teams are sort of bringing in entities that are natives of both of their suns. So what's fascinating about the Jeremal is it is always looking for a worthy master, always finding them wanting. So
Damn.
I'm excited to see how this one is going to confront you. The Kithra is what we've encountered, this three-headed lizard thing, and it's real nasty. Its traits are savage, starving, and clever. So I love these are like
It likes long walks on the beach.
yeah. The way they handle like monster blocks on here are really fascinating. It's very narrative. There's a couple things like, hey, it has some injuries, it's got a level, it can take a certain amount of, it's this hardy basically, and then it's got some like, hey, here's how it defends, but then it's just got weird attacks. And Teratology is going to be a book full of weird creatures, and it's almost out. I think it's like in the warehouse now, or will be shortly.
Yeah, all those supplementary books have been rolling out pretty steadily. It's wild.
Yeah, we have Book M, which is a bunch of new magic. You've taken some options from Book M.
I have taken some options from
New
Book M.
spells, new secrets. We have Secrets of Silent Streets, which I've been using from. It's like just all the rich lore and literature about like Saturnine and more stuff you can find in there.
Yeah, the Underslings in there, the Ruin Districts are in there, which we've gone to in Season 2.
Yeah, we've taken from that. And then, of course, we'll have the Teratology, which is really cool because it's also an in-game artifact. Like actually, maybe all of these are. Book M is too. But it's like some weird Vizsla naturalist has like written up all the creatures they found around. and, like,
That's dope.
it's very charming. She's
I
like
love in-universe role-playing
she's
books.
this like beautiful like big blue lady with cool hair. She's awesome. I love her. So you are facing down a Kithra though, and you dodged, but you are blinded as blood sprays across you. Some bits of your modular clothing sort of slows you as you try to dodge out of its way, and you're blinded until you spend a round wiping away the blood. So you're just covered in this gross hot blood. So I don't know how well you're taking that, but. You start wiping away blood. Both of you can take an action against this thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shayna is going to use an ability.
Okay, cool.
Boop. It is called Time to Ponder.
Time to ponder. Ooh, I like it.
So basically the rest of the world slows down, and it gives Shayna some moment to sort of collect, look around, to formulate a little bit of a plan,
Ooh,
and then
nice.
sort of keep going.
Cool. So you see this Kithra thing. So this is after it's sprayed you, or
Yep,
is it
after
okay.
it sprayed me.
So you're wiping blood away, and you're a little bit blinded. So that your time spent is spent with other senses, right?
Yeah.
You're hearing things, and you can you hear a strange like warbling that's we the audience know is the Jeremal coming down the way. You also hear, the sound of more fighting around the dark ball. You almost feel like you've tuned into that weird, that bit. If silence could be heard from afar, you kind of notice it's off in that direction. You've got kind of a lock on that dark ball.
Yeah.
What else are you thinking about, or do you want to make a roll to sort of prep anything?
Yeah. Shayna's just gonna do a general sort of like in between the wipes and things, just sort of a
Yeah.
general once-over of this monster.
Yeah, and I think if you slow down time, you get your visual again within that slowed time.
Yeah, so I will spend 1 Benny and make a little perception roll at this
Cool.
guy.
Let's do it.
Cool, I rolled a 10.
You rolled a 0,
A 0, yes.
right?
That's less good.
It is
Right.
less good. Very
I forgot
exciting,
about
though.
that.
So what happens? Is it that the blood is just sticking? It's like the blood isn't affected by your, even though you're wiping, the blood is not moving as fast. The blood is
Yeah,
sort of
because-
the other time.
Because it's part of something else, so it's part of this other time. So Shayna's like, "Ugh, I thought this was gonna help, but I guess it's okay, whatever. I'll just think of a plan in my head.
Yeah, with your other senses, you can tell that it seems to be scraping some weird claws on the ground, like it's
Okay.
maybe getting ready to get more up in your business. So
Sure.
you kind of know that you feel like that's part of its next step.
Okay, so Shayna is then going to just get ready for it to get up in her business with the plan that once it leaps over her, she's just gonna shoulder it into the barrier that's behind her.
Oh, cool. Love it. Okay, so you're preparing your body for that. What are you doing, Calvin?
Calvin, seeing Shayna did not get out of the way,
Yeah.
is going to put himself between Shayna and this beast.
Okay.
And he looks up at it and goes, enough.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna cast Ignipotence again.
Oh my goodness.
I'm putting 3 points of magic into this one. I get to roll +2 dice for this spell, and I'm looking for 5
What
with
color
all
is
of
it?
my. Ignipotence is gold, actually.
Oh, I think it's more powerful.
Yeah.
And I did manage to hit an 8 on one of those dice,
Nice.
so
Okay.
it does work.
Awesome. So you spent its level
actu-
in.
Yeah, so I spend. Oh, that's right. I spend its level in addition to the extras that I spent to make the roll. Or no, the spell level adds to my roll.
Yeah.
So I should have just actually spent 1, 2, 3 more. All right. Yes. So
Yep, you got it.
I'm finally learning how to play the game.
Hey.
We're getting there. So what does it do?
So this surrounds me in fire. Anyone who comes close enough to me to touch me will suffer 3 points of damage. And as an action, I can cause flame to lash out like a whip against any single target within a short range.
Not bad.
Yeah, so Calvin's body is enveloped in gold flames, which probably unfortunately makes him more noticeable to everybody in this dark ball arena, but will maybe confuse the players from the dark gold. Who knows?
Definitely will be thinking that you're on their side, for better or for worse. Cool. So you sheathe yourself in flame. The 3-headed Kithra thing is uninterested and is still going to sort of thump toward you, and it's going to with one of each of its heads, it's going to try to bite at you. So it is going to suffer only 1 point of damage as your flame is sort of lashing out, but this thing's hide is just so thick. Can I get a? I have it. Ha ha ha. Okay. Cool. So it's going to take a little bit of damage, but this thing is hardy. That it is basically just barely singeing it. And it is going to try to do 3 bite attacks at you. So make me 3 dodge rolls, if you would.
Gosh.
I know.
So would survival factor in, or is this is dodge? I forget how skills work in this game because
There's a dodge skill
dodge
specifically.
is a
Yeah.
skill specifically. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just rolling pure,
Since it is an
Yeah.
action skill.
And
and I'm at -2 anyway. So
Nice.
the first one's just a 5 because
you'll do.
I'm double diminished. That's a 10, which is bad, right?
It's a 0, yep.
And that's a 1.
Okay, cool. You're going to take 4 points of damage for the 2 that hit you, which means it's going to fill up an injury track and give you a wound, which is bad news unless you spend a physicality. There's 1.
Will do.
You're left over with 1 little check mark in your injury. And then the second one will fill that track up again and give you a wound unless you, boom, there we go. And so you were left with 2 injuries.
Yes.
Cool.
I need...
All right, so I think it should take damage twice again because it got close enough to sort of
Yeah, a bunch of hits.
hit you. Yep, so it'll actually take 3 injuries because it has 2 armor. So it's your flame is starting to cook and sizzle at the skin, and it doesn't really like that, but it definitely took a good chunk out of you. So you're bleeding a little maybe from the arm or where did it hit you? In the leg?
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, one went for the arm, one went for the leg.
Excellent. This thing doesn't just bite to injure; it bites and takes a bit of flesh with it, and it seems to be, hungry. You get the sense that this is a hungry organism that wants to eat you, not just damage you.
Cool.
It's very unsettling. What do you do?
Has the thing come around the corner yet?
So just as you're watching, you see that there is that little weird hum. You see footsteps, just a paw kind of hover over the air as this thing is kind of slinking over. You see that there's 1 paw, 2 paw, 3 paws, and you can see that it's this, what looks like, if you saw the back end, a 6-legged hound thing.
And that's done into the gold.
Yes.
So it might be able to be convinced that we're on its side.
It certainly is. It looked like it was sneaking up on this lizard thing and then kind of sees you. So it's unclear if it's attacking right away. But so that is the Jeremal.
Well, Shayna's going to see that Calvin does not have this.
And I should have pulled a new card, I think, already. My bad. Each round. So you're the top of the round, I think. So this is under the gold sun, which is great. It's visions, which is not helping you folks. So enhancing gold, diminishing silver spells.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, so you see, just as gold is enhanced, the Jeremal is coming around the corner. You also do see that there's sort of movement behind the window at Grins. So there are people in there watching outside.
Well, Shayna's just going to slide out some knives and just go to stabbing town on the lizard monster that just spit on her a whole bunch.
Excellent. So give me a roll to hit. It is
Cool.
Yep. It's pretty slow. So if you're attacking with a dagger, it's not very good at dodge.
All right. Well, only
Just as a heads up.
spend one of these. No, I'll spend
Which dagger are you using?
Shayna's using her bladed, curved bladed dagger.
Okay.
Her
From the house.
No, she's. Oh, she would have put on the gloves for the house, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that's. Two
You've
of
got
those.
your murder gloves on.
Yay. And that's
I never go
some
anywhere
things
without
in
my
here.
murder gloves.
Boom. Yeah. So
And we've also got this sortilege that introduces flux.
yes. So Shayna gets a total of a 9.
Nice.
10,
That will
11,
definitely hit.
12,
How much damage does it
13,
do?
14. Shayna does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh, Lord.
7, 8 points of damage.
Which
Damn.
is 6. This thing
that's my
is, it has like 1 wound it can take left. You've really done a number on it. So what do? Do you like, do you sever a head off of this thing? You've hurt it very, very, very badly.
Yeah, so Shayna's gloves begin
Yeah.
to sort of like deepen in like darkness, and it looks like there's this like, almost looks like blood glistening
Right.
on the like skin of like the leather gloves. As she reaches with the knife like directly into one of its like armpits.
Yeah.
And then pries. Like popping one of the like shoulders dislocating.
Oh yeah,
one of his
absolutely.
limbs.
This thing screams, and I'm going to need the both of you to make withstand rolls as that horrible like screech starts to shake you a little bit at its core.
Oh no.
You're looking for a 5.
I got 7.
Okay.
I got a 2.
All right. You're a little shook by this horrible, horrible thing, and it does a bit of. It's going to be doing kind of mental damage to you. It sort of just makes it hard for you to focus. It's going to do 2 points of damage to you, which is I'm not sure where your injury track is.
So I've got
gonna
2
fill it up?
injuries right now, so that will.
So that would give you an anguish, unless you want to spend a point of intellect to absorb it. Boom.
Boom.
Okay, cool. Then you are left with 1 injury.
So I go back. Oh, do I go back down to 1?
Yeah, you
Yeah, you go
basically
back
go
down
down
to
to
You just
0.
keep looping. You keep
kinda-
looping.
Oh, okay. So then I guess I had no injury because I absorbed the last thing.
Cool.
Well, no,
then
because you had 2 left over because you like rolled
Oh,
over.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So okay.
This
So
is-
now
I'm
I'm
not
down
good
to
at
1.
verbally explaining this. I'm sorry. There's a little chart we're looking at.
Yeah.
I promise this
Joe, can you grab me a pencil?
makes sense.
Ooh, yeah, because
Thank
we
you.
passed the pencil back.
Yep,
Yeah, sorry.
you're all taking damage now. Cool, so you sort of put your hands up by your ears and take a few steps back as even with the flame roaring around you, that screech is just feeling it in your bones. That is the moment when, let us say this is a positive GM shift for fun. So we're about to get to the actual dark ball part. You're just in a particularly dangerous area. The 6-legged hound that was stalking up behind takes this moment to silently kind of paw in and like moves at incredible speed and takes a bite sort of out of the flank of this whole creature, and with strength that it definitely shouldn't have against this enormous lizard, hurls it back behind it into the streets, where there's sort of a tumble, and the two of them are going at it. You can now hear there's some sort of scuffle is coming toward you that seem to be human voices. What do you do? So that combat has kind of run away from you.
Shayna looks at the creature, looks at you covered in gold fire, and quickly adjusts her clothes, changing the sort of exterior colors to be black and gold.
Nice.
Good idea. Calvin is like, also, I feel like we're a little exposed right now.
Let's pop in here. I know the place.
Sure.
Nice. Jackal. This is a nemesis of mysteries, I believe,
So
which
we're
is none of you, but you're
still
all
diminished.
diminished.
Dang, this dark ball game is intense.
Yeah, I love it though. It's the dog thing that we just had. It's
Ooh,
very
yeah, with
charming.
mirrors.
Right, with mirrors, lovely. So you go to go in the Grin's Grammary and it is very locked. Do you kind
Is it
of
a barrier more than 6?
for Grin's Grammaries? Yes.
Oh, damn.
But there's people at the window, so they're mostly assistants looking up at you in horror and like, we're not open, closed.
I just want to talk to Tiara.
They look at each other. You see a shock of kind of pink hair like lift up over the desk. She was sort of laid back with her feet up on the thing. A hand goes up and the assistants rush to quickly let you into that library. They close it again, and you can see that behind that ordinary door is an elaborate series of mechanisms and spells, and there seems to be like a low-level Vance just waiting there, just sitting and ready to power something up at some point. You two come in with the gold colors. Tiora says, I didn't know you were competing.
It just sort of happened.
Not usually our sport. Right. We need armor.
Yes. Can we borrow some chains? This isn't actually a bookstore. It's a chained library. The bookstore thing was a joke. You can't take the books out.
Okay. Great.
Of course, we have extra chains in the back. We'd love to be compensated, of course. You know, these are going to get very damaged. This is Dark Ball we're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you take promises?
Shut up.
Are you like,
Shayna's sort of gonna lean in and try and do her best to put on the charm.
Excellent. Give me a roll.
Spending some interaction, Benny, because she can spend more than one of those.
That's
I love it.
delightful.
Ooh, I rolled a 9.
Yes!
So that's a 12
wow.
total. Shayna leans on the bar and goes, well, I'm sure there are some ways that we could repay each other at least. And she winks.
A low, small smile sort of goes across Tiara's face. And she sort of like wrinkles a nose a little bit and she goes, oh, I can't stay mad at you. Even if the chains have said that you are under no circumstances allowed to borrow from here again, we're going to have a talk about that. But for now,
Yeah, it's whatever.
she says, follow me. She brings you back so jackal means intimidation, power, ruthlessness, dark magic, and necromancy.
Ooh, that's the card?
So
Wow.
I think Tiara, for all her beach babe, is trapped in a horrible library full of chains and weird business and has to keep herself entertained somehow. And so you stumble upon the wonderful armory of a horrible necromancer and sort of dark magic user in training of boredom, of curiosity. So I think there's all these weird chains that have basically been experimented on, have different runes on them, and she's basically surrounded by high-powered spells all day and has tinkered with all sorts of things. So a very experimental armory. What are you looking for? I see that you're with the gold. Are you looking for more gold magic? Are you going to go up against the red?
We mostly want protection.
Protection.
We're not actually with the gold.
Yeah, we're pulling a separate job.
Oh. All right.
This is just the amuse bouche of our goddamn afternoon.
Excellent. So you can tell me what your weird chain accoutrement looks like, but fundamentally, you're going to each get bonuses. Let's say like this is super powerful and it's only one use, right?
Yeah.
So this is the dark lure of both Cypher System and Invisible Sun. Is like there's lots of stuff that's like, oh, super overpowered, but it'll only be one use until your players suddenly find out a way to make it come longer. So these are going to be, let's see. +1 to each of the defenses, and and an extra plus toward one of the defenses is what's going to happen. So very, very powerful, nice stuff.
Yeah.
What does your weird chain armor look like?
So Shayna's looks less like a weird like chain, like suit of armor, and more just like a series of like chain bracelets that each like glow with runes, and every once in a while it look like a little like wisp of energy connects them, and it's like an ethereal chain appears for a moment and then it disappears.
I love it.
So she puts like a cuff around each of her ankles and around her wrists, and one like she puts her hair up into a bun.
Sweet.
And wraps the chain up there to make 5 points for it.
Awesome. It is going to. So each one is going to come with a little vex. So just because that's how kind of special magical items work.
Yeah.
So I think with that one it might be, let's see, these might be like physicality vexes, which is a bummer. But
what about movement?
This one
Because it
could
is
be
sort of like
movement.
it's chains chained together.
Yeah, I'd allow movement.
Cool.
All right, perfect. And so you've got +1 to each of the defenses. What is your +2 to? Resist, withstand, or dodge?
I think it is to. What's your resist and withstand again?
Withstand is more like poisons and stuff. Resist is like, I'm casting a spell on you, and you're like, no, you're not.
I think it's resist then.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
Okay, what do your chain armor doohickeys
Calvin's
look
is
like?
a cape.
Sweet.
Nice.
Chainmail cat cape?
Yeah, well, not chainmail. They are individual tendrils of gold chain that like
Nice.
hang in the form of a cape, and like they flare in a very cool way.
I love it. So which is going to be your extra boosted defense?
I think it's going to be dodge.
Cool. So +2 dodge, +1 for everything else. And cape's got to be movement, right?
Yep.
So
No
at some point
question.
you can spend that vex and say, like if I'm making you do a dodge roll or something, you can do a little worse at it to get rid of it. Or I can that's basically a note to me to give you some GM shift toward like screwing up your movement somehow.
Yeah.
Question on Ignipotence.
Yeah.
Its depletion is check each round. So should I check to see if I can maintain it? Or
Yeah, check to see if you can maintain it. I'm gonna basically call this little scene around because like it's dark ball, you're kind of on high alert the whole time. So you just
Okay.
need to roll 1d10.
Oh yeah, but I get to roll 2. It says plus 2 dice.
That's just
not
to
for your
activate it.
depletion roll, but you're right.
Ooh, okay.
Just give one roll.
And do I need to hit 8 in order to
No,
keep it?
you just need to. It says depletes on.
0. Okay.
So as long as you don't hit a 0, you're fine.
Rad. Fuck.
All right. How does your fire go out? We are in the Nemesis after all. That
Yeah.
just makes sense.
I think like it's probably shortly after he walked in. Just
Excellent. So both of you have you have 4 recovery rolls. You can point to any pool and get back full. So if you wanted to spend enough to cast that again and then recover that pool, you could do so.
yeah. So I need to. I would need to spend 8, and I've only got 7 right now.
Oh, bummer. Okay. You could refill that pool and spend it, or you could just leave that for now.
I think for now I am good on that. Yeah. I will activate it if it's necessary.
Cool. You've got basically a short rest in here in
Yeah.
case you wanted to use that, because you probably won't get another one for a while. So in case you want to just refill one of these pools,
Well,
I would recommend doing
Shayna's
so.
buffs got stolen, so
Yeah,
I
it was a
can't cast
bummer.
those.
So like your physicality or something. Looking at your numbers.
Yeah, I'm seeing how buck wild I can get.
Cool.
I have spent. Oh, Shayna's gonna store an action for later. I haven't cast that yet. One of the things you can do with warp time and space is activate the ability Extra Moment to store rounds of combat for later.
Sweet. That's
so
very
Shayna's
good.
gonna do that.
Nice.
Shayna's gonna.
So in this weird, like, dark magic experimental armory situation, Tiora's in like a cute, like, romper, and is like trying hard to flirt with Shayna while you are all like gearing up and casting very serious business spells. Tiora's very much trying to like distract you.
Shayna will otherwise let herself get distracted.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, and I want to cast another something.
Cool.
Just to use up these sorcery things.
The assistants are sort of talking, and they seem like
Actually,
really
she'll refresh her
nervous.
interaction pool. Because I spent a bunch of those.
Nice.
Calvin is going to cast a level 9 weave.
Oh boy.
Oh,
He's going to
wow.
spend 7 points to do this, and he's going to spend 2 sortilege on this using his ability that allows him to spend more than 1 sortilege.
Nice.
Well, that's your choice to activate. I'm
But
not
we
going
can
to
also
mess
just
with
grab
that.
it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now may not be the moment you want to flux exactly.
Yeah. He's going to grab a strand of infinity, and he's going to hold his fingers up to attract lightning.
Okay.
And let's
Lightning's
see.
the one he's a little better at right now, or
Yeah,
which one's
lightning. Oh,
enhanced?
that's right. Lightning needs 1 less. So really, I only need to roll a 2 now, I guess. Or no, a 1.
So you just need to spend the level of the spell in your sorcery, right? Which you mostly did, except -1.
Right.
So it's less like you're trying to hit. If you're trying to go against, if you're going against a level 5 creature, then you'd have to hit a 5 or higher. But you'd be casting a level 9 spell, which means you'd get 9 points added to your roll,
Yeah.
which means it's an auto hit.
Yeah,
So
you're good.
it's really weird, yeah.
Yeah.
So you might be 1 off to hit that, but
Yeah.
also,
so
you're
then
in
I
a
don't need
weird.
to spend all that stuff. Yeah, I'll just, hey, I got the 1. Cool.
Nice.
Okay, what are you doing with this? So you call down lightning.
So he calls down lightning, and grabbing strands of infinity, he creates in the air like a silvery glass bottle that resembles a Mobius strip, and he stuffs the lightning into the bottle. And I am doing this, so I've got some bottled lightning, which when I drink this, I will get +2 dice on a significant action ongoing.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's really cool. Ongoing is very powerful. So
It's level 9.
yeah,
You do have to work for that one.
have a GM shift of despair as you are casting a powerful spell in a how many times did I say experimental workshop of this this wonderful tiara. So you are casting it, and you notice that several of the chains start to animate like mouths. They start to look like sort of faces. Several of them, and you can sort of hear a weird snarling as 2 of them lunge for you and start wrapping you up, and sort of making biting noises at you. You are enhanced in your defenses, but this was totally out of nowhere. And one of them, you can feel that whatever weave, what weave are you holding in your hand when this happens?
I mean, it's either thunder or infinity. I think it's probably infinity.
I think it's infinity. You can see that one of the chains starts to propagate out and starts filling the room with these chains, all barking and whatever. And Tiora grabs the 2 of you and says, and she shouts, protocol, and then says some impossible sound and yanks the 2 of you outside. And you see that a door sort of drops down, and you can hear shouting and the sounds of chains piling up inside.
Shayna rewinds time.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. You guys are spending those points. What happens?
Don't cast a spell. Walk outside and then do it.
Okay.
I'm from the future.
Okay.
Cool.
She does that. Sometimes she's from the future. It's all right.
Tiara looks at you skeptically. So you pull together that spell again, but instead of casting it around these highly experimental chains. Okay, so you bottle
I
lightning.
do have to make sure that I didn't get a 0 this time, and I did.
Gosh darn it, Calvin, buddy.
I'm just trying to play it right.
So,
When have we ever played it right?
yeah.
If someone wants to give me a venture.
Gosh, someone gave 17 bits. Beautiful. So I think, you could roll the second die,
You could roll the
right?
thing?
Yeah, I
And
got it.
definitely
I
get a
got
flux.
it. I gotta definitely have that flux. That's a 3. That'll do it.
Okay, so beautiful. So with your flux, so even though you stepped out of it, you are surrounded by big Calvin energy, and therefore, can I get can you roll? I forget how we randomized these before, but I'll
I've
pick
got
something
2
appropriate.
D10 here, so I can.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think previously you randomized it by having the chat come up with random numbers.
That's true.
But what's the 17th one?
That's cool.
That's
A great
perfect.
one. 17 is
Look, Shayna's. It was obviously going to go wrong again. Because you can't just turn back time and make it go right the second time.
that's true.
It just didn't
just
screw up.
goes wrong
It just
in a different
didn't
way.
screw up
It's new
Shayna's
ways.
new friends'
Yeah.
armory. Yeah.
Magical dungeon. Mark Davidson gives us. I think this is you. Your clothes burn with a magical, non-consuming flame. The flame does not hurt, but it looks like you are on fire. Not a magical fire, but just actually conflagrated. It lasts until the next sunset or sunrise.
That's the wrong color.
Yeah. So it
It's not
seems
my color.
you can feel your magic sort of coursing through you in strange and wrong ways, but indeed, perhaps less than what had happened before.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you have some cool armor. You have not messed up this poor woman's.
And I will take the time to refresh my pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
refresh any pools
Shayna
that you
now
need.
refreshes her pool as well.
Okay, cool.
Because she just blew it all.
Yep. All right, folks. It's time for Unknowable Truth.
Nice.
It's enhancing indigo magic, diminishing gray, and it's helping out our friend's secrets, which is you. So
nice.
you are
Double
enhanced again.
Nice.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
All right, so you can.
You're no longer diminished.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, some of the assistants are catching up on some of the dynamics of the fight out there. It looks like the red really has an advantage right now. They have the dark ball as far as we can tell. Somebody's over there kind of scrying, and
You're red now.
Oh, yeah.
Shayna changes her clothes.
Red, excellent. So perfect. They seem to be quite doing a lot better. There are already several ghosts of the gold are sort of, morosely hanging out. They're in one corner of the match, still watching. It's hard to tell, the whole logistics of like who, how, or one wins this. It's mostly like hold on to the ball till the end, maybe. There's some other stuff people will tell you about the rules are very confusing.
It's exactly like cricket.
It's exactly like
Yes.
cricket. The person scrying says that the red team came by here recently, but it seems to be kind of quiet on our side of the area.
Cool.
What do? You want to get to that changery.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. I will see you later, and then again, and then maybe a few more times.
She just passes you a note. We're not gonna, this is a family-friendly audience, so. But she
Shannon just looks at the note, nods, grins, and goes, "Hell yeah!"
get out of my store. Excellent. So we head outside. Let's see, is that the double?
Yep.
That's the double. Cool. Let's see. This is. I always forget to say like which sun it's on too. So we go. Let's see, silver,
green,
blue, indigo.
Blue, indigo, yeah.
All right, so we're back on the streets of Saturnine in Indigo.
Baby.
Yeah, see more in A Woman with Hollow Eyes after dark. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, it's quiet on the streets. You can hear that there's off from maybe like the south. It sounds like there's lots of raucous noise, and you can see that there's an enormous spell-created hand that seems to be picking up a distant building and moving it and dropping it somewhere else. And you can hear lots of yelling. So I'm pulling from some of the wonderful things chat thought of as Dark Ball is taking place off in the distance.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
It's very impressive.
Wow.
Yep, and what?
That wasn't the building we needed, right?
I hope not.
You don't think so? So the building you needed, that's off to the south. Yours is a bit like kind of north and west from here.
Okay, cool.
So are you trying to look tough while you walk around? You trying to be quiet or sneaky? I'm going to need a roll for if you're trying to be any one particular way.
Yeah, Shayna's gonna be like tough. She's got her murderer's gloves on and
Yeah.
her red clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shayna's
think
gonna
tough
lean
is
into
the
the
play.
aesthetic. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Let's say a GM shift as you are. I'm not going to call for a roll because Shayna is pretty tough. Did you
Yeah.
know? Shayna's really scary when Shayna wants to be, and bedecked into this like scary red outfit, and the red's winning. So tell me something that you encounter that like gives you one look and basically lets you pass as you're very scary.
I think that somebody like comes out, and it looks like that they have some sort of like long, like weird crystal like spear that looks like they're gonna like try and like defend
Yeah,
themselves
yeah.
with or something. And they look at Shayna. Shayna looks at them. They shake and snap their spear in half and run away.
Okay, excellent. Yep, absolutely. You are fearsome and continue to go sort of unharried. You're getting some other quick stuff that happens. There is you come upon a like little square that has two summoning circles and two rival goetics who have each summoned the other into a summoning circle.
Oh,
who
dope.
are sort of in a loop where they can't really. Neither of them can get out now. A gold and a red, and they're sort of shouting, but you can't hear because both of them have made it a summoning circle without the sound on, and so both of them are just making gestures and shouting, but functionally can't harm you as you pass. Finally, some other stuff you see is there's a place you come upon, and you notice immediately that something's wrong about the magic here. So you come upon like a little fountain area. There seem to be some like little cafes and stuff nearby, but you notice that the water coming down from the fountain seems to zoop back up, and so there's some sort of loop that keeps playing on and off. This is the most direct path to get where you need to go, or you could try to walk around it.
There's some sort of weird magic loop happening right here.
Yeah, You can see sort of behind the fountain there does seem to be some kind of figure, but it's kind of hard to see them. The water sort of in the way, obscuring them.
I mean, we can just turn back time if it doesn't go well, right?
I mean, yeah. Shayna walks out, trying to get a different angle so she can see the person behind the water. Does she see them?
It's you start to step through the. You're going to be stepping into its field of influence, if so.
Before then, Shayna's going to reach into her pocket.
Okay.
Pull out a different knife. Look sort of at
Which
the water.
knife?
Just a random normal knife.
A random knife. Okay.
Yeah. Looks at the water and at the sort of loop and things like that in front of her.
Yeah.
Sees the figure behind it. So they're going to take a moment. She's just going to try and throw the knife at the figure behind her.
Excellent. So you hear a, let's see.
Want me to make a roll?
I do want you to make a roll.
Cool.
I have a thought about what's happening here.
That is a 10 total.
A 10 total. Beautiful.
Shayna's good at knives.
Yeah. There is so you hit it and you notice that the time loop magic sort of dissipates. What you see as you can step forward and know that field is safe, the sound here changes too. A lot of it gets back to normal. You see that there is a snake-headed Vizsla who seems to be gosh, so where did the dagger strike them? It's like a beautiful woman with a gorgeous kind of viper head with the collar and everything.
I think the dagger striked like right in a shoulder. Yeah.
Right in the shoulder. The eyes are really wide, and she's sort of shaking with fear. And with this beautiful voice, she yanks the dagger out and says, "Thank you," and she scurries away. That is Katrinity's, Lena Richter's snake-headed Vizsla with a beautiful voice. She searches for things to fear.
Whoa!
That's pretty messed up.
Shayna goes, "You're welcome," I guess.
And runs away.
He's a stud this week.
So you're able to stop this time loop and go forward, and you're coming right upon the area that should hold this ancient changery, but unfortunately, through a portal that suddenly opens up in the wall in this sort of alleyway you found yourself in. 2 and 2 members of the red team, 2 members of the gold team sort of tumble into this crowded area with you. And there are, there are weird spells coming out of them. One has an extra arm that's sticking out of their back and that was hastily cast and is sort of grappling with another one. And lo, that weird silence. One of the red team members has the dark ball in his grasp. So there's this basically hot mess that you've walked into. Let's draw a card really quick. This is the Watcher. It is the Sovereign of mysteries. And Sovereign does a thing. +1 to both of you, +2 if it's of your heart, which neither of you are. It's also a very cool card of a guy with this big, beautiful gold telescope.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Again, also a new card that did not exist before we pulled it.
All right, so what do you do? They're fighting. No one's taking an action against you yet, but in a round, at least the gold people are going to see you as fair game.
Let's just go in, right? They're probably going to run up against the wards, and we won't.
Yeah, let's just book it.
Okay, you're going to try to just book it through this throng,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Cool. Give me some dodge rolls as you do so, or I could also see it as like a movement roll if you were just like super booking it. I could see either of those skills being relevant. Yep, and there is this extra die in play if you're up for... you rolled that, right?
Yeah, it's already been rolled. So if we
yeah.
want to see it again, we'll need to see another sub, was it?
A sub or flux. You could get flux directly.
Throwing a knife at future Shayna, that would have been amazing.
Eh,
All right, Shayna's just going to dodge.
theoretically.
5?
Not going to be quite enough to get through unscathed.
I'm rolling, and for me, that is a 7.
Nice. Okay. So the 6 is not quite enough to get through unscathed. So Calvin, you are with the help of this cape. It is moving and shielding you a bit. And the cape is red. You're red now.
Oh no, it's gold.
The cape is gold.
The cape...
You're a very confusing character.
Yeah, they don't know what to make of this one.
Awesome. So I think, So I think you are. The gold folks immediately see gold and they sort of leave you alone. The red folks see you wreathed in red flame and say, that's got to be one of ours, ostentatious jerk.
Yes.
And you confuse.
It has nothing to do with dodging.
Nope. You just the way you move catches their eyes the right way, and you find yourself in front of. What is this name that Alan gave us? Dendon's Changery. What happens with you? What is it? So you're very scary and intimidating looking, and people notice when you walk by.
Yeah.
So one of the gold folks must sort of snatch at you a little bit or like injure you as you go. What do you think happens?
I think one of the gold folks, the guy who's got like a third arm, quickly casts a fourth arm.
Oh,
and
nice.
just like reaches out to grab at Shayna.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You're brought in a little bit. You'll kind of have to like fight him off. So what do you do? Do you attack in response? Do you try to push in response? Do you dive further in? There is that mysterious dark ball that the closer you are to it, the more you're convinced this is deeply powerful magic. You do notice that no spells are being cast on this thing. Possibly no spells can be cast on this thing. What an insanely powerful item you are in close proximity to.
Why don't you just steal it?
Yeah, I'm gonna steal it.
They're not going to be able to get through those wards. We are.
Yeah. Shayna's sort of caught up by this gold.
Be a mess.
Shayna's like caught up by this gold guy.
Yeah.
Is going to teleport next to the red guy with the dark ball and go, pass me the ball.
I mean, you just appeared, you're in the right costume, and he is being dragged under. You can see that the cobblestones next to him are being turned liquefied, and he's sort of getting, as the gold are transforming the material around him. He panics and gives you the ball. What do you do?
Shayna teleports again.
Teleports again. Where do you teleport to?
She teleports to inside the building.
This is delightful.
Yes,
excellent.
Yes.
So you can't quite teleport inside the building. It is pretty high level magics, but you have the talisman. So
Okay.
Let's see. I guess you have it on your person. So yeah, you can teleport inside the building.
All right.
Past that initial ward.
Sure.
What do? You just like.
Well, Calvin doesn't know
in.
that Shayna, he feels like we're both headed to the same place, so he's going to run into the building and like she'll probably appear right in front of him.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, she appears right in front of him.
What are you doing with that? I got the ball.
Why?
We're winning.
We're not in the game.
We are now.
Oh my God.
It feels awful to touch, by the way. Just wretched.
I'm glad I have gloves though.
Yep, you do have gloves on. It still feels really weird. It still looks weird and makes you kind of nauseous to look at. You're inside. You see that there's there's an Elderbrand kind of with a kind of goblin-looking cute face on with a a tree branch kind of growing out of their neck area as they're always kind of transforming their bodies. They look at you. And they look outside, and they start. There seems to be some sort of like break glass in case of emergency situation behind. As they look at the door.
We're here to inspect.
You placed
tapping
the talisman.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Apollo did not have permission to bring the dark ball in here.
Shayna is going to create a no pocket and put the dark ball in it. Foop.
The Elderbrand's eyes go extremely, extremely wide, and a third one opens up on its forehead in even further cascading surprise.
I like the idea that it's a bunch of eyes with eyebrows on them that all can rage up, so it's just increasingly incredulous in ways that no human could ever dream
Look,
of.
no ball.
Whatever Apollo sent you for, please attend to it quickly. The room is back there. I'm sure if you need to access any of Apollo's records, you can do so quickly and get out.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. We're going to write you a great review.
Whatever. The Elderbrand goes in and starts taking out elaborate magical devices of a weird shield and some strange potion. It's basically getting weird. What do you call those bandoliers of like?
Yeah,
Bandoliers
it is bandolier.
of grenades. Yeah,
Of grenades
they're called
on.
bandoliers.
Yeah, I love that word.
a good
They're
word.
basically
Bottles of
teaming.
multicolored potions.
Exactly. And so they say quickly, they'll know you have it.
Oh yeah, of course.
So you start to Would you like to tell me what this changery looks like?
Ooh, yeah. So I would say this changery looks. It's almost got a sort of like desert hairdresser sort of aesthetic. There's little bits of like sort of sand and dust places, since the owner is this sort of weird hair, like sand and dust. But there's also a bunch of like those things that they pop down over your hair.
Yeah.
And it looks like that there's a whole bunch of them to sort of slide over and like 50s style pop over different
Yes.
body parts to like
Yes.
create and
Beautiful.
replace and change different things.
Yeah, and there's basically nobody here because there's dark ball happening, and so everyone's sensible is at home,
Yeah.
or elsewhere. So there seems to be kind of a cool archway that leads to sort of the maintenance area, with a beautiful archway with kind of like there's little tiles that the sand kind of hasn't quite gotten all the way over yet. It's sort of as though you're walking from a beach into an indoor area. And so there seems to be a long hallway full of strange rooms that you're presented with. You hear a horrible shake as the whole building shakes for a moment. Let's pull a new card.
If
What's
they
your plan
lost
here?
a ball in a game back in Shadow, they just replace it.
Yeah.
What happens here?
Well, they get the ball back.
Why do we have the ball?
Why don't we have the ball?
The only reason that I am not insisting we just leave the ball behind is I feel like if we managed to steal it, we could help Seven with it. Having an extra ball sounds great.
Yeah, or we could just hawk it for money.
Okay, yeah, we'll think about whether we want to do a morality play or we just want to make some orbs or whatever. Great. So they said that we would know when we hit the first barrier, right?
Yeah. So there's the sand here. Shana just sort of like toes at the little edge of the sand. Does it look like it's like a ward at all?
No, you feel that shell sort of get a little warm on your body, and it seems to be that this lets you pass for sure.
Okay, we're good here.
Okay, past the first
So
ones.
you pass the first one, the whole building gives another shake a little bit, and some sand sort of scuttles in a little more, and one of the changery like chairs kind of falls over. So your time is limited here, but there seems to be a long series of hallways. It's hard to tell which way to go. What do you do?
I think that hand's grabbing the building.
Oh no. Okay. That's gonna scramble all the records. We have to do this extremely quickly.
Yes.
Calvin is going to cast a spell. He
Lightning speed?
Calvin has 2 out of 4 weaves left currently, for those keeping track at home.
Yep. He is going to use movement from thunder. Well, actually, let's see. It can't be subtle, it can't be stealthy, it can't be gentle. Nothing in captivity endings. Or understanding. He's going to weave himself from other dimensions to help him look in this room.
Into it. Tell me more.
So I'm trying to figure out what level I would need to hit for this. First thing he's going to do is going to chug that bottle of lightning.
Nice.
To give him a plus 2 dice on this move. Then he's going to, he belches a little bit and he grabs some of the thunder from that.
Yep.
And he'll just run his ring his finger in a figure 8 pattern, grabbing up infinity. He'll smash them together, and then there's this ball of like recursive lightning that's moving around, and he smashes that onto his chest, and then Calvin in several different forms shows up in front of us.
What does girl Calvin look like? Because like
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the different Calvins that could be.
Yeah, we'll think
So
through
many
these.
Calvins.
What level
Girl
spell do
Calvin,
you think?
tall Calvin. Yeah.
If I want how a bunch of different Calvins, how much is that
Baker
going to cost
Calvin.
me?
Goodness, let's see. A bunch of different Calvins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the functional deal is that you're searching for something.
Yes,
so
that's true.
I don't think it's that high of a spell.
Great.
It's just a really cool way to do
Just
it.
a cool way to do it. Great.
Right,
So, I
so
guess I just need to hit 5 or
level
whatever. I'm
5,
not going to
yeah.
spell spend anything for that. I think I can. Yep, I
got
did
it.
do it.
And you got a flux.
Well, I would get a flux if this wasn't my primary die, Darcy.
Are you? Oh, it is.
Sorry,
Fancy.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I
Legit.
hit that 9. So girl Calvin, right?
Yeah.
So
We
we
want to know.
She's also, I think, wearing a suit, but you know,
Yeah.
it's more set to frame her. She's got the same big, wild
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
And she like pops in. I think she's wearing this situation with a little bit more pizzazz than
Nice.
Calvin was, because the implication here is I think these are the Calvins that didn't need help. So this Calvin from the other
They're all more
universe
competent than
found it right away and like got zipped into another universe. Having some trouble, are
Oh my
we?
goodness.
One detail about Girl Calvin.
Yes,
please.
The buttons are the other way on her clothes, so is the Testament of Suns.
Yes. Oh my God, the implications of that universe.
And the Path of the Suns, yeah.
Very good.
That's very.
I have a lot of questions that you do not have time to ask these very competent Calvins. I love it. What did she say?
Yeah. It says, having a bit of trouble, are we? I do not need this right now. I need help. I think I know where it is. So she's gonna go off.
Who else? Yeah.
Shayna goes, who's she?
She's me. Gross. And she's married.
Oh my gosh, so good. Tilda Swinton is definitely in this role. Thank you, Joe. God, yes, love her.
God. Okay. So.
There's like the cool one. She's also very cool. But what's the very, very slick Calvin?
Punk Calvin, where it's a leather jacket with the Path of Suns on it.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
got just like slicked back hair and it's like colored in all sorts of cool colors. Yeah.
I'm on it. He runs off in another
Yeah.
direction. There is
Calvin with a book for a head.
Calvin with a book for a head, being like with a scattered Libra light. The Calvin with a book for the head,
Very cute.
I think, like turns a page, and you notice very quickly the difference between Calvin and Libralight's personalities. If they were book people, Calvin's is so much more colorful,
Yeah.
and instead of having straight dialogue pages or prose pages, he's got comics.
Yes.
So he
All these AUs.
flips a friendly hello.
This is Calvin Ball.
I mean, obviously, there's anime Calvin, there's Calvin Noir,
Yeah.
there's
Calvin Ham.
there's definitely Calvin Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go running across quarters. Is there any others that you definitely
Yeah,
wanted to
there's
say?
good Daniel McPherson. Make of that what you will.
Beautiful.
Hi there.
What does he say to you? Yeah.
Oh my, what are you doing here? No, it's fine.
I'm here to sell you a burger.
Here, have a hamburger. I never thought I'd be helping you. You're usually up to some naughty business. Calvin's just like looking at this burger as this this person in, what's the opposite of organ grinder music?
So I think organ grinder music is like very mechanical and involves a lot of like movement of like accordion sort of style instruments. So it makes me feel like that it's a little less percussive. So
Or
possibly
singing even?
like slight choir and
It's-
some
What's
little
the theremin?
theremin. Yes, theremin and choir.
Which is still unsettling, but a
In a
little bit
whole
more
new
joyfully
way. Yeah.
unsettling. Yeah. Good Daniel McPherson, Jesus.
So all of this has, before I can possibly have to contend with the implications of everything that just happened right now, somebody finds it real fast and your spell ends.
I found it!
I am so excited. Who do we think finds it?
It's Girl Calvin. It's
Yeah.
Girl
Oh,
Calvin.
yeah, definitely. She just knew where it was.
Yeah, it was just going to be in the opposite place of it was for me. And then one of the Calvins, Calvin Ham's like, great, now we all have time to kiss. And then I feel like they fold in and go away before we have to deal with that problem.
God bless. This is very good. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
just sort of looks at it, goes ejected, and goes, I wanted to see them all kissing.
Get that weird time and space weave.
Yeah, I could rewind time, yeah.
NVG. Excellent. So you find Girl Calvin leads you to the room that has basically there's a bunch of records, a bunch of weird tomes on the walls. This is a changery, so I'm trying to think of anything else that would be changery specific. But there's like a lot of books.
I love the idea of just different body parts being on the wall, sort of like what you would see in a tattoo shop or something like that.
Like Flash?
There's just like a bunch of lips.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Cool.
And I think there's also probably body part magazines where you can flip through them and like you flip over a page and a hand pops
Comes
out.
out, yeah.
Or you flip over another page
What if
and
there's
like
a bowl of samples?
just a bowl of eyes.
It's just a bunch of fingers. You can pop them on, they're temporary, they shrivel up and fall off. But if you want that sixth finger, this is how you
Save
try
me.
it out.
Yeah.
Save me, someone. This is horrifying. Why did I do this? Why would it go here?
There are sliders. There's a mirror with sliders,
Yes,
with
and you
character
can change
creation
it,
sliders.
yeah.
I'm into that. Back in.
Yeah.
I'm back in. Okay. And it is in a room with mirrors. Did you hear the word mirrors get uttered here? Do you remember how
Yeah,
horrible
mirrors are
are?
fine.
No, they're not.
It is in the room with a bunch of mirrors and also like some weird, clearly summoned little demons that are all in each corner to watch the mirrors, to clearly like guarding whatever might come out
They've
of them.
all got fly swatters.
One's got a weird spear ready to sort of shatter. But yeah, they're all watching this room with mirrors. But you can tell that one of the walls, as you get to it, now you knew you were looking for an old part that's sealed off. You notice that having walked past many of these rooms, this wall doesn't go quite far enough back. It's clearly a little artificially brought in. It's a little more intense in here. And Girl Calvin shows you here and says, this will be it. I can't go through, of course, but you can.
Thank you.
See you on the other side.
Say hi to your wife.
And she zoops back in with the horrible mess of all your other Calvins. You're in this room. It's empty and quiet. The whole building does give one more bigger shake, and the three demons in the corner sort of look down at each other and look at you. What do you do?
Shane looks at the third demon, which is a soup ladle.
Is a soup ladle?
That's what he's got to
Yeah.
bash whatever comes
nice,
out.
yeah.
And she goes, I need to borrow that. She takes the soup ladle.
What will you give me? He's going to try to keep it from you. You're probably strong enough to just rip it out of his hands.
Yeah, screw this demon.
Okay. Boop.
An apology. Sorry.
Beautiful.
Pops open the first potion, pours half of it in the soup ladle, gives the other half to Calvin.
Excellent. You feel, so this is the green one.
It's green.
Yeah. What is so this one tastes green. What else does it feel like?
Sort of like there's like, it doesn't taste like mint.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a bush of mint, like under your skin, like touching the bottoms of your skin with its leaves.
Ooh, awesome. That little prickly feeling.
Yeah.
You have to act fast and walk through that barrier. So,
Yeah, Shayna runs right towards it.
all right. You start stepping into this weird brick wall. And as you do so, so the card I drew was Whispering Lover, which is super cool. And you, my friend, are going to get a
swans
little
and stuff.
despair.
Nice.
A little despair.
Despair.
I know, it's not fair, but that's the way the Path of Suns goes. You hear the voice of the woman who you'd seen before, the loom, in your ear saying, we knew you'd make a mess of things, Calvin. And she pulls, and she also says, and don't forget, what's watched goes both ways. And she takes one of your threads away.
Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. It's got to be infinity that I lose.
Infinity, yep.
Yeah.
Because the Calvin verse is definitely what she's taking away. So the loom has looked back.
Yeah. I think it doesn't matter what you take from me. Oh, wait, yeah. That's right. I can learn more than you can ever possibly take away. And I can make a mess bigger than you'll ever be able to clean up. And he's gone.
Okay.
Focusing on this mission.
Excellent. So you feel the, do you let go of that tracking spell that seemed to have been, or do you keep on to it?
I'm keeping on. She's
Okay.
going to know what I'm going to
Cool.
find.
All right. Awesome. It's unclear what else she can see, but she can definitely tell that you were using big fuck off magic, made a Calvin verse, and she took it.
She wouldn't have told me that she could see me if she didn't want me to get rid of it. So
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're going to let it continue, and you step through this wall. So you are now in, gosh, what? So this place feels preserved, like you're walking into a weird wax museum. It's got that sense of eerie stillness, of facsimile, of not quite right. It's kind of, and I'm trying to think of what this room specifically looks like. I think it's sort of a circular room with a bunch of shelves all around and little slots. And inside seem to be like big rolled up scrolls and things. It seems to be that there's a bunch of these little nodes going further and further back. But it's again, that paper doesn't look like it's the right texture to be paper, and these beautiful floor tiles don't look like they catch the light right. They're sort of little light sconces. Everything about this just feels like you walked into a weird doll's house, or that kind of not quite right. You kind of expected it to look super old, and that's not quite what happened. You definitely get the sense that something has stopped. You know, it's not quite time stopped here, but it's got something similar. Some sort of, you warp time and space. You know some weird spells going on here like that. But you at least have a brief period of time where you are at least safe inside. You'll need to take that potion again to get out.
Okay. Let's look at the records then.
let's flip through those records. I can't weave anymore.
What do you mean?
The loom, before we got here, she grabbed another aggregate. Between that and all the others that I've lost, I have one left, and you can't make anything out of one.
Oh.
I'm sure I can still use thunder for something, but just so you know, I do know a few spells. A handful, very small handful.
Okay.
But I just want to be straight with you in case situations arise.
Okay. Well then, we are in a place that appears to have been tried to be erased from before the war. A massive spell was cast to make everyone forget, to destroy.
Why couldn't they just, if it was supposed to be erased, why didn't they just erase it?
Because however much powerful the people who cast the spell is, you can't just erase real things. This is reality. This isn't shadow. You can't just throw it away.
But
there's substance to this stuff.
But I can destroy things.
That's different. That's changing something.
It would leave a memory.
Yes. Leave rubble.
And they just took the memories.
Mm-hmm.
What's the implication of being here then? Are we outside of memory? Should we be able to remember other things?
I don't know. But
there are bigger questions to answer. Okay.
They tried to erase me.
What do you mean?
I didn't fight for the winning side, Calvin.
I mean, right. That's right. Hate was coming in, and you attacked other people.
Yeah.
And so everyone that was fighting on your side, they all got put here? Or in a place like this?
Probably.
How did you get out?
I was imprisoned in shadow before the spell got cast.
Why would they imprison you in shadow? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Of course. I'm just... If you fought on the losing side of the war, they wouldn't have sent you to Shadow. They sent the refugees to Shadow. I sent a bunch of rats on a boat.
I was there with the demon jailer.
Huh. Okay, this raises a lot of questions, and we will have to get through those questions. But the first thing we need to do is locate these records. So we should look for anything that might have involved the loom, and I'll just look up my husband's name.
Cool. There might be some things about me in here as well.
I'll keep an eye out.
They might not refer to me as Shayna. They might call me the bloody-handed one or the blade of the enemy.
Okay. Where did Shayna come from? Was it your name before?
It's the name that I picked, yeah.
Okay. Sure. I will look for all of that.
Yeah.
Eternal Mountain, unchanging, solitude, memory, eternal, long life. A structure or object remains strong and intact. I drew this after what we found, so I just think that's sort of underlining what you're finding here. Mm-hmm. So I think the two of you feel that you can take a little more time here. You feel that time is definitely not proceeding like it's supposed to. And so I think the two of you maybe split up for a minute and kind of go off in your own directions as you're seeking what you want to find. Cat gets drawn for you.
Yes.
Ooh. This is the companion of Notions, which is Calvin. The companion you draw again to place it on the path of suns. But let's see. But I wanted to draw it to use its interpretation. So let's find out what that is. I don't know that I've seen the cat a lot. Meanings: solitude, curiosity, cleverness, dexterity. Let's see.
Yeah, splitting up to look for this thing makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Pretty clever.
Pretty clever. So you start going down these different corridors, and just you can tell that you're being pulled by different. You walk past, and the magic seems to engage with you a little differently. But what trick do you pull out to sort of find stuff that's relevant to you? What do you lean on, or what do you draw from, or what do you sort of find to resonate with that?
Boy.
You've got a locket.
I
You've
do
got
have
other
a
things
locket.
from your past.
I'm pretty sure I should be... This is...
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Savage Sword is the... I swear to God, we've not gotten any of these. Is the card for Shayna.
Ooh.
Gosh, just being on the nose.
Yeah.
Let's see. Savage Sword. I love this. I think I'm going to take that pretty literally, because you come upon... so the meanings are war, savagery, strength, violence, brute force. But I think I'm going to come upon that extremely
Here's
literally.
the card.
Yeah, you'll definitely want to see that. So I'm going to tell you what you find in a second if you have thought about how you feel about it.
Calvin grabs his wedding ring.
Yeah, lovely.
He takes it off. He looks through it.
Perfect. As you look through it, lots of things look perfectly normal. But you notice that a few seem to have little flickers of light in front of them. And so as you walk towards some of those, you walk across this big, weird scroll tube situation. It's got kind of this one has a weird seal on the end, but it seems to be, as you look through it with the ring, and you kind of look down the barrel of the scroll, it starts playing images specifically. So it is, I'm going to tell you what those are in a moment. So you sort of get drawn into these, but there seems to be quite a few that have different bits of light, and some are stronger than others. So it seems to be related to like the intensity of relation to you, of stuff that might be in there. Goodness. This is a very strange place. So you start walking down a different direction, and you start getting pulled in a direction that seems to have less scrolls and this sort of magical bit of rolled up information or material or question mark people. Did they store people here? Whatever they needed to hide from the war. Yeah. But you turn a corner and you come upon a place that seems to be meant for people to go stand in rather than just reference. Yeah. And on pedestals are this seems to be like a trophy room or something. This is a place you go to look upon great artifacts. One is a person suspended in time. There's a bunch of weapons on the wall, and a big F-off sword that looks like it's starting to drip hate cyst stuff, but is frozen in time and space, is sort of hanging across the way from this person. And there's a pedestal with writing at the bottom of that that says the bloody-handed one. So there's a spot for you here, Shayna. And there's a sword dripping hate cyst. But more importantly, and there's some person across the way that you do not remember, but maybe you should learn later on. But as you get close to that pedestal, you feel a very, very strong pull to get upon it, right? In a bad way. And that dagger with the hate cyst on it that you got from the not the reliquary, the repository, starts moving, and it feels like something is crawling out of wherever you've hidden that. So that thing is really reacting suddenly in your pocket. So you can think about what to do with that. Right. You come upon an animation that is that seems to be just a little flicker of maybe someone's memory of seeing you on the prow of a ship, right? And so you go through a couple of these. Do you want to give me a few more before I get to the one that I want to imbue upon you?
Yeah. Just to get, are these memories of me specifically that have been taken from Librelite?
This one doesn't look like it's from Librelite. It looks like it's taken from somebody else.
Oh, somebody else's memories.
Librelite is actually in it.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can tell that like certain ones, people who were closer to you seem to be stronger. So you're kind of moving through these and trying to find the Librelite section.
So.
But as you pass, what do you see?
Yeah, looking through this, I see a couple flashes of people in military, like naval uniforms. There's like one of all of us kind of dressed down in like, just our undershirts playing cards of some kind. There is one of us like we're covered in dirt. That maybe there's even a little bit blood. Like we're yelling as pieces of building are exploding. There's one of this person, and you can see their hands for the first time. And I think their hands. Ooh, what do I want this person to look like?
Their hands are covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
Like really fine, thin writing over and over.
Cool.
Oh, I love it. And they've got painted fingernails that are like with gold paint, and they are helping a rat child up a gangplank onto a big ship. Yep. And so like it's just flicking through until like the last one that I see is we are all on the deck of a golden ship, and we can look out and we can see the suns floating around us.
Yeah, awesome. Someone close to you, but not Librelite. So you continue down, and there are a couple that are similarly would probably be very useful for information, but who knows how long this will last. You seem to be stopped out of time, but are you taking them?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
heck yeah. Cool, so you're just taking any that have the animation on them.
Calvin was very clear about if this has affected other people, he needs to
Sweet.
right that wrong as well.
Love it.
Just fill a bag.
Yeah, you're taking all the ones that are relevant to you. You definitely can't fill, you can't get it all. So,
With the no pocket, we might be able to, but I can't cast the spell to do that. Maybe Shayna can.
excellent.
It's so busy.
Shayna's working through some stuff.
You eventually get to a room that goes really, really high and has kind of those cool like ladders that are attached to the walls that sort of slide around.
Oh yeah.
Love those. And this room is sort of has what looks like the symbol of the Weavers, but it looks weird and old. Like it looks like maybe an archaic version of the Weaver symbol. Like this is a room where powerful Weavers are sort of, it's sort of a veneration kind of feel to it. And that is where you see a bright, almost blinding kind of animation coming out at you from one of the higher seals up above. So you can't quite get it to orient until you're sort of level with it. So you start climbing this ladder.
Yeah.
All right. What are you doing? So you see that this dagger thing. Where is it on your person, on your body?
Yeah. So Shayna usually stores her dagger like sort of right on her right hip. And this one is just sort of slightly behind where it is.
Okay.
Like if she needs it, she could reach for it, but she
Right.
has to do it consciously.
Yep. Okay. So you are. So that it seems to be wiggling at you. Do you kind of like try to stop it, or it feels
Shayna
like
takes it out.
Okay, you take it out, and this dagger that has the bit of like kind of hate cyst on it. The hate cyst is flowing as though it were like an amoeba around the dagger instead of something that drips from it. It seems to be kind of moving and undulating, and the big F-off sword on the wall seems to be starting to maybe shimmer a little bit or move in response to it. The dagger is, you can almost start to hear a sound. What do you do coming from the dagger?
So the sword's beginning to almost sort of move.
Mm-hmm. It, just like it's got this, suspended liquid, and so the lights in the room, have a sheen coming off of it, and it just looks like that sheen of light is just ever so slightly changed, as though it was undulating almost imperceptibly.
Shayna
There's like a murmur kind of coming from the dagger.
pauses and thinks. If I release this sword, that would be an issue for the Deathless Triumvirate. But would it be an issue for me right now?
As you're in this room, it looks like there are other very even more sealed scroll, like capped scroll rolls, sort of in the wall around you, like information about you, possibly information from you. It looks like this is the U section of this area. So the sword definitely caught your eye first of all, and it's awakening ? The hate cyst that's here. But there's more information to be gathered in case you wanted to mess around with that.
Yeah. Seeing and noticing the scroll, Shayna's sort of going to shake her head and sort of snap herself out of like, this is a bad idea, Shayna.
Even Shayna has those moments.
And she's going to head up to the scrolls.
Okay, excellent. Give me a resist roll, please.
Ooh, yes, and I have +2 with that.
Yeah, that's great. Let me say, it's a powerful resist roll.
Okay.
Such power.
Which pool do I spend Bene from?
This would be, I think, intellect.
Intellect, probably.
Yeah. And you could also do sortilege if you like.
Yeah. All right, so my highest is a 8.
An 8. Okay, cool. So you are, I was looking for a 9. I know, I'm a jerk. Yeah, and you're not getting anything from this. Okay, So as you're getting closer to those scrolls, you are being pulled onto that pedestal. You're being pulled toward that. You think it's onto the pedestal, but you actually feel that the apex of it is actually toward that sword. The pedestal is sort of in between you as you went up to some of these scrolls. You're like almost like pulled by the chest over the pedestal, but you haven't stepped on it. Your toes are still sort of hanging on the edge, but you're currently trapped in between this sword and you haven't quite reached out to touch it, but you're sort of suspended for a moment right next to it. And you can hear it whispering. It is many voices, like children, children's voices start whispering to you, and they are so excited and happy to see you. Shayna, you've come back to us.
It's been so long.
We missed you.
Oh, Shayna, play with us.
Shayna, it's horrible in here. Please help us out.
It's so boring.
We want to go home.
We want to find new friends.
Home's gone.
We can make home wherever we go.
They took home.
No, they didn't.
It's waiting for us.
We left our mark.
It can be built again.
We can make it bigger.
So this is a weird time for you. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
However, like the feeling you get when you hear it is one of connection. And for all that it is saying things that could be let's go destroy Saturnine, it's not saying let's go destroy Saturnine, right? The feeling you get off of it is almost like dealing with some, like maybe summoned entity that is more naive or something. But this thing wants these things. There's a sentience here that you didn't know could talk necessarily, and they miss you terribly. Don't leave us here. And you're still sort of suspended over this platform.
I won't, but I've got to not get myself trapped first.
You feel a wave of disappointment as you can almost feel there's a pulsing sort of happening of light in the big sword, in the hate cyst around it, the sort of hate cyst energy or whatever, and you can feel that like your blood, the heartbeat of your own self is sort of reflected in that. Your connection with this is very strong, but it's not pulling you any closer.
Okay. Shannon tries to take a step forward.
Onto the pedestal or around it?
Around it.
Cool. It lets you take a step forward. The sword starts to, the way it seems to move more as you get closer.
Shayna takes another step towards the sword.
It continues to move faster, and the voices are, please take us with you at least. We don't have to join. You hear a bunch of whispering as though some of these voices are discussing amongst each other and wondering what you'll do. She'll take us back. She always does. She'll take us home. Is there really no home?
We gotta be quiet for a little bit, guys, okay?
We can be quiet. We can be so quiet.
We're so good at that.
Okay. Shayna reaches out with the dagger and just taps it onto the glass.
Excellent. One side of it starts to turn to like little cracks are forming in it, but it's turning to ash and emerging from those cracks, and just sort of ashes one side. The other side, you hear it like almost like you feel like kind of like a pressure pop, and it's just gone. So half of it is just absolutely dematerialized, and half of it turned to ash. Okay, so the glass is open, and the sword is there. It's moving a lot, and you can feel that dagger, like the tip of its blade is almost melting and reaching out to sort of like basically you can feel the hilt even is starting to get kind of hot, like it's dematerializing and joining the bigger blade.
I need you for later. And Shayna sort of pulls the knife back.
Excellent. You feel bad when you pull it back, but you've made a decision, and so you put it in your back pocket. The big sword, is still writhing a lot, but it's quiet. You hear an occasional whisper of like, "Be quiet."
Shayna takes off her coat.
Yeah.
It's like part of her modular clothes, and wraps the sword in it.
Nice.
And like cradling it like it's like a small child.
Yeah.
She walks over to the
Sort of scroll area.
the scrolls to see what she can find there.
Excellent. It's organized. So there's information that you suspect is like taken from people's memories, right? It's like during the war, someone would have been tabulating, destruction by the bloody hand, right? And even that information had to be pulled out. So it kind of it's organized by section. So it's like destruction by the bloody hand, theoretical, abilities, people's writings on you, just a big stack of people's memories of you from the war. And there is kind of a small section right at the end of the list that's theorized whereabouts, but it's just like a little tube of information.
Shayna looks, does any of it look like it's hers?
Like your memories?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that's here. This is all about you.
Shayna sort of shifts the sword sort of around so she can reach one of the pockets on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And pulls out her pristine guard signet ring.
Cool. Awesome. You roll it around in your fingers, and it does, the light in the room changes as you do so. And as you kind of, just as with the wedding ring, it looks like viewing things through it seems to be adding differences. So there's certain wards that seem to be about like letting people of the pristine guard through from this area. Little bits of spells to protect those. There are like odes to fallen pristine guards that you can see. There's basically a whole other layer of information in this place, unlocked by this ring. But what are you looking for specifically as you're looking around? Anything related to you more personally, like your memories? What you do notice as you're looking around with a ring is that there's
Michael.
Or Michael. Cool. Awesome. You notice that there's a part of the wall that isn't covered in glyphs, and that's sort of what keys you off to something's different about that part of this room.
Shayna pushes into that wall.
You push into that wall, and it sort of it moves back like silently. It just slides right back, and inside is a darker. There's like it's like an earthen wall. It's like it's dug under something. There's no tile in here. There's not even really light. It's kind of hard to see except through the little bit of illumination in here. And there seem to be some strange, what's kind of horrifying is there's sort of some assorted like body parts in here. One looks like an arm that looks like it could have been your arm. With a big weird hate cyst thing sort of still on it, sort of hacked off and left in there. Regrowing an arm isn't a big deal in Invisible Sun, so if they had a part of your body, they kept your things unceremoniously dumped into this weird room. There are some it looks like there's a little, what did they put your memories in, right? All these other memories are so pristine.
Tombs and whatnot.
Yeah. What did they definitely had you in their grasp and not long enough to send you to shadow. So they took some of your memories. What would they have put it in?
I think they would have put them in iron boxes.
Cool. Awesome.
Like sturdy and heavy.
Yeah.
Like lots of locks.
Yep.
Like combinations and things.
Awesome.
Just these discrete heavy boxes.
I think we have 8 boxes that are arrayed around here, but some of them are on their sides. They were created and chucked in is what it looks like. Think about what you want to get from this space or what you want to do here. You got up on the ladder to what you think is probably, the high-powered weaver,
Yeah.
Either you, but you don't think that's quite the case since you never really got scrubbed from the war like others did.
Yeah, exactly.
You had a weird time. And so as you get up there, the almost blinding light sucks you in. And you see a lot of different things. But also, they didn't scrub a lot of Liber-Light because he's high-powered enough to sort of be kept, right? There are things that he was able to keep from the war. There's things that he doesn't know, but if your average Vizsla is going to get scrubbed of anything that had anything to do with the war. We don't talk about it. Liber-Light has some information. So what is locked away, right, is a lot of their time with you. There's sort of moments, especially when it came to the war proper, you kind of see vague battles that seem to be illuminated to you. But this ring is really focusing in on your and Liber-Light's information. The scene you get that sticks with you the most, there's a lot of confusion, but there's almost honed by the ring. There's a particular moment that you're looking for, and this ring helps you find, and that is the memory of coming to this changery, right? That's what you're really interested in.
Yeah.
So you see the changery's details almost fade away. It's not something you focus on, but it's not quite how it looked right now. It certainly doesn't look anything like the weird desert spa situation out front. It's kind of almost looks like an interrogation room is the feel of it, right? There's a single light illuminated from above. There's a chair. There's a bedraggled Liber-Light sitting in that chair. Often this is through your own eyes. Liber-Light's memory of this is kind of outside himself already and outside their self, whether that's an emotional thing or just how they view themselves, unclear. They don't have eyes. It gets complicated.
Yeah.
And there is a tall robed figure that seems to have lots of strands sort of going off into many directions.
It's third-person book narration.
Third-person book narration?
It's the lived experience of third-person book narration.
I love it.
Nice.
There's a discussion about you. Liber-Light has their book head in their hands, the book closed, and heavy sobs coming from the chest, right? The movement of that. The robed figure has all these tendrils going out, but has an arm sort of on Liber-Light's shoulders. Any other details of how you would see Liber-Light kind of immediately post bad business? You are gone. Calvin is gone.
Yeah, Calvin is gone.
What clothes is Liber-Light wearing?
I think, this is a really interesting thing, because Liber-Light has been through some kind of a shipwreck.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it is like a torn and bedraggled naval uniform.
Yeah.
But I think he's got some token of mine somehow. I think he's got the rat coin, tucked away, and it's a thing that most of this, and my experience of it is, sort of sepia tones faded, but that stands out. No matter where you see the rat coin, it is there, and it does not hide in that way. So Calvin zeroes in on it very quickly.
Excellent. There's kind of a discussion happening between this black-robed figure, and most of it's happening soundlessly, but it's Liber-Light's memories, so you're getting the thing. They're having a moment of talking about the status of the war. So, I'm trying to think of what your title would have been, but Calvin is gone. The war rages on, but things are changing. There's sort of discussion. It seems like this black-robed figure is almost trying to have small talk to sort of get Liber-Light to stop sobbing. They're sort of almost getting into chin up moment, sort of having this.
Yeah, stiff upper lip kind of
Yeah, a
thing.
little bit. And so they're discussing and they're talking strategy. A lot of it doesn't make sense to you because there's so much context that's gone from memory right now. But one thing they say is that the hate cyst has changed. You're actually, as you're listening to some of this, the stuff you do pick up is that the bloody hand has joined its ranks. So this is sort of a tail end of at least this part of your war, and something about it has changed. Librelite seems to be giving more information about the last time he fought one of these hate cyst engines, and indeed, what will come of this. So you definitely because you know Shayna's title, you knew to say, oh, this is a thing. Huh. This is a thing the upper echelons of the war would actually talk about, and you're joining the army would change the tide in some fundamental and strange way. The hate cysts are changing. The conversation goes on, and finally, the robed figure kind of sits and says, functionally, Librelite, we have to keep fighting. I know we need everyone at their best. The game is changing, and we need to fight without those we've lost. So Librelite kind of turns to this figure and opens the book again in a more restrained way that you're used to seeing, and starts showing pictures, right? Sketches, and Librelite is asking, all these good things, I can't let go of them. There's sort of an argument being had of, I know I need to move on, but I can't, and it's too good. And things you're seeing in those images are your two lives together, but further, it turns to an image of you and Librelite kind of on a ship, and you're holding hands and you're looking up, and there's a small child with Calvin's hair playing in the rigging, and you're looking up at him. So that is what Librelite is looking at, and turns to the black-robed figure, and the figure speaks aloud here and says, Calvin is gone, but there's no body. Calvin might come back. Everyone must forget. If Calvin knew again, if you knew, there's sort of this complicated discussion of Calvin's gone, but we fully expect him to come back at some point. This is a life you have to leave behind. If Calvin ever finds out about what you left behind, nothing will stop him, and the war will start again, all over. We have to win it, and we have to win it finally. So that is what our dear friend Librelite acquiesces to forgetting. For the sake of war, for the sake of hurt, for the sake of Calvin, for the sake of themselves, and a hope for the future, Librelite acquiesces.
And I think Calvin is just sort of left on that ladder, rocked by so many revelations. He doesn't know what to think. I think he's going to go look for Shayna.
Okay.
For the podcast, myself and the entirety of chat was freaking out that whole time. Wow.
So, lots of things remain unclear, as you might notice. That is my way.
Uh-huh.
Shayna, what do you take from this dark place where the artifacts of Shayna, as you were, have been unceremoniously tossed. And you can take a card in case you want to sort of figure out, have a thought about narrating this.
Let me see the book.
Yeah. I hope that's okay.
We'll figure it
You
out.
are great.
Something that Calvin would be thinking about as he's descending the ladder is that the path of suns is said to be the map of the human soul as well as a series of places. So it strikes you that, you know, all this effort spent creating new worlds, creating new things, perhaps there's other kinds of creation in it too.
I drew
Yeah.
the imprisoning ice.
That feels thematically correct.
It is a, looks like some sort of ice cutting boat that has like a big clock tower at the top of it that's like
Beautiful.
stuck in ice. Its meanings are entrapment, imprisonment, danger, and conflict. And it is Calvin's suit of notions.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you take from this place?
I think in this moment, Shayna's looking at all of these metal boxes, and she's sort of looks at the sword. And it's a fucking boat. It's a boat.
It's an imprisoned boat. That's
Yeah.
really messed up. Thanks, Ken.
Shayna reaches into one of her pockets and pulls out a copy of The Notion that she says she does not read.
Sweet.
That
Who's she putting on airs for? Calvin said he'd, whatever.
that has the cover story with Calvin and Shayna on it.
Oh, yeah.
And Shayna pulls out a third different knife, cuts out Calvin's name, rolls it into a little ring, and looks at the boxes.
Excellent. So you're trying to focus on any memories of your past that relate to Calvin? Is that
Yeah.
am I correct? Wow. I love it. That's very, very cool. So as you do so, there are little flickers. Are there any specific memories that you think you have of Calvin? I have some ideas, but you might too.
I think that, I mean, the two of them fought on opposite sides of a war.
Yeah.
So they definitely fought at some point. Yeah.
I think we see Calvin. Are you like operating the weapons? I imagine you as sort of like the captain of the ship, directing things, and other people are sort of doing a lot of magic. But I guess you probably might be slinging weird weaves yourself.
Yeah. I think
When it came to direct confrontation, what would that look like?
so. What I'm picturing, if this is the voyage of the Golden Ship that we took to the edge of creation, then this was a very special device that took a very long time for us to
Yes.
make. And it's the only device of its kind that's
Yeah.
made to do this thing. So I don't know, the Hate Sys doesn't know what kind of gambit that we're doing. I remember from last season that even our side of the war disapproved of this
Yes.
plan. This is something that Librelite and myself and
Yeah.
our small crew all did on our own ambition. So I think if the Hate Sys got wind of this,
Yeah.
you led a strike force,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Calvin stood against it.
I think the Golden Ship is not imprisoned in ice, is run aground onto this sea of hate.
Oh, cool. So they even less than as part of its voyage.
Yeah.
They got wind of when you'd set sail.
Yeah.
And so you are riding a sea of hate. And are you like walking atop the waves? What do you look like in this?
So Shayna's in full, evil hate cyst mode.
Nice.
So
Yep.
one of her arms is a long blade. Her other hand appears to be constantly like dripping. It could almost be blood, but it is hate. She's in like this shimmering black red, like chitinous armor covering her whole body.
Yeah. And because this is your memory, you feel how that armor and how that being surrounded by this hate cyst, how this is a sentient force protecting you.
Yeah.
Like valuing you and loving you and you feel the sense of survival, that intense push to survive and to fight and defend. Even though you're going against this golden ship, your overwhelming sensations are about survival and protection.
Yeah, Shayna feels like supremely loved in this moment.
Yes, absolutely. And so you walk toward that ship. What do we see you look like in this moment?
So Calvin is standing on the edge of the ship. He's in, actually, make a perception roll.
Ooh, I love it.
Sure, cool. 7.
I think that's good.
Nice.
Calvin appears to be wearing something that is similar to the suit that he's wearing now. He's leaning down over the side of the ship with one leg up, sort of on the main, I can't remember the forward arm of the ship,
Oh, yeah.
so that he can like look over the edge and look down. You can see he's got the same wild hair. His eyes are just as bright, but they're a little bit sharper than the Calvin you know. There's something like more focused and intense about him. He's looking down over the side of the ship, just studying, almost like he's trying to work out a math problem as you're walking towards him. And you can see, Shayna, because you know you're from the future and you know what Calvin looks like and what he has looked like, you can see on his suit the buttons that make up the path of suns. And you see the glass button on the side that represents the invisible sun. And you see an unbroken button on the other side that you've never seen before.
Yeah. I think Shayna would stop a bit of a distance away from the ship and yell, "Turn around."
Where we're going, you can't follow.
I can follow anywhere.
No. People need to be able to live in a place without you. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to allow people to do that.
We can't let you do that.
It's not a question of what you allow us to do. We have all entered into this endeavor together. And you can bring what hate you will, but there is nothing stronger than our love.
I disagree.
Well, I'm happy to find out. Calvin does it, and several weaves pop off at the same time, just as like Shayna's power rises up to meet it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Excellent. And,
Very anime.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Wizard fight! Wizard!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like that's mostly the kinds of scenes you see. You do not know each other more than that.
Yeah.
So you close down on those memories. What do you do here? Do you take anything or do you leave it?
Shayna leaves it all and turns around.
As you are walking back through this room where there's the pedestal and
a joy.
Yeah, the broken glass where the enormous sword used to be, you notice that final little roll of information, of scrolls, of other people's memories, that bit of, Shayna's, the bloody hand's known supposed whereabouts. You notice that there's the sort of the seal on that one is a little bit like tampered with, and it catches your eye, and you kind of look a little bit down. As you do, some information is kind of rolling off of it. If you wanted to download it all, of course, you could touch it.
Oh,
although
yeah.
you're running through stuff, and
touch
what's fascinating to you is that this scroll, it has a lot of ideas about people hypothesizing. This is more kind of modern stuff that seems to be magically written in, which is pretty unusual. But it basically, you're still considered a war asset. So to the extent that the spell works, which is not very well anymore, on anyone active, it'll kind of put that information in here. But what you notice is that there are bits that have been like redacted or like written over, and there's sort of a stamp of like official thaw business. So you notice that there are entries about showed up in a prison cell, and basically memories of people talking about or sending messages of like, hey, we should go confront the Bloody Hand. They showed up in the prison cell, and there's like a little mark, a little sigil that says like disregard. Someone has been going in and sort of stopping the flow of information about you. You're looking at that sigil. And a name comes to you, Aranea.
Aranea. Interesting.
Somebody.
I feel like I've heard that name before. Shayna thinks to herself.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So at that moment, Calvin sort of finds, the two of you find each other, I think, if you were going to look for Shayna.
Yes.
Shayna's got her coat off. She's holding something wrapped in it.
Tenderly.
Yeah.
Calvin has just a bunch, I think he's taken off his coat and he's used it to make an additional bag to hold as many of these scroll cylinders as he possibly can.
Shayna sort of jumps when Calvin arrives. Like she's like sort of like ready. It looks to Calvin like she's ready to fight. And she sort of relaxes for a moment.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Are we alone?
No. Shayna reaches out and grabs that sort of slightly broken scroll.
Yeah.
You got room for one more?
I think so, yeah.
She tosses it to Calvin.
Calvin puts it in his, I think it's like slung around his back and he's just holding things on.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. It seems like whatever you did in the war changed things. After I disappeared, Librelite came back and they were debriefing about our voyage. And he thought he lost me, and
I fought you.
When?
When you were on the boat. Your golden boat, right?
Yes, the golden ship.
Yeah.
Golden boat.
Well, my only memories are of the moments before the golden ship was destroyed. You weren't there. So,
No.
I guess we got away.
Probably.
Why were you attacking the ship? Do you know?
We had to stop you.
Well, why?
We didn't understand what you were doing.
We were making a new world.
So were we.
Okay. I had a child. I don't know where they are. Librelite, they said we had to keep fighting. They said the war had changed and we had to keep fighting, and that we had to put the things that were stopping us aside. I don't remember the child, and I have all of these memories, and some of them are Librelites. Yeah. And I think he's the only one who can answer those questions.
Calvin, I know this isn't the best place to talk about this necessarily, but if you found Librelite and you haven't found your child,
I don't know. I don't know what happened after the crash. I've never known that. We got to the edge of existence, and I opened it up, and Daniel McPherson was there. I'm trying to be, or I was trying to be, the guardian of a new place. Somewhere that isn't this place. Somewhere that isn't wrong on the inside. I wanted to build something safe. And when you do that, you create the opposite of that too. And that was Daniel McPherson. And I wanted to do this thing, I think, because of whatever the hate cyst was doing. And I guess I figured we could just let actuality go. I don't know. There are so many gaps that I need to fill in, but my child was on that voyage. Librelite survived. I have memories here of other Vizsla. I don't know what happened to them. They might have survived too. They could all be in shadow for all I know.
Calvin, are they dead?
They could be, but then they might be in the Pale. I don't know where they are, but if Librelite is the only one that can survive, if I get these memories to him, we'll at least know what happened.
There's a pain that comes with knowing.
Pain is a part of life. You can't turn away from the truth because it's painful. That's what these people wanted. They didn't want us to create a world without pain either. They did everything they could to stand in our way, and when we made the ship and we went off on our own, we overrode them, and we overrode you and anyone else. And I will do whatever it takes to right the wrongs that they set down. We don't have to live by their rules. And part of that means taking on some things that are going to be pretty painful. And I was committed to that in my previous life, and I'm committed to that now.
All right then, let's do this.
Calvin will take out his ladle.
Shayna pours half of a potion into it.
See on the other side.
Yeah.
This one is lilac, kind of lavender color. This and what does it feel or taste like?
Deja vu.
Mm-hmm.
And stillness.
And stillness. And just like that, you feel like the sinking feeling that deja vu kind of has for me. That sort of you missed a step, right? The sort of off balance momentum, and suddenly you find yourself just having taken a step, perhaps unconsciously using that sort of mage's path. You find yourself back in the changery, which is shaking and quaking and tilts. You have that dark ball in your no pocket, and you can hear someone say, someone shouting, "It's returned, it's back in play."
The game is still happening. I figured it would be over.
Nope.
What do we do?
Shayna unfurls her coat, catches the sword in her other hand.
Uh-huh. Okay, Jesus Christ.
We win the game.
Is that where we stop for the session?
I think it is, because I was going to try and turn off the dark ball, so I feel like both of those are bad ideas.
I think that's where we hard cut.
I was going to Spider-Man turn off the dark ball.
That's beautiful. Yep, that's where we cut.
Hey, folks, thanks.
Hey, thank you, folks. This is amazing. So we'll come in on the end of dark ball, and then the other, whatever else you might want to do, post that. So why don't we dive into some character summaries, folks?
Nice.
How are you feeling about the day? So again, you talk about moments of joy, moments of despair, moments where you sort of proceeded along your character arcs and how that might have changed. Who wants to start?
Well,
I got a lot of new goodies. For the record. I'm taking things away
got
from
so
you.
many things from Calvin.
so I lost a couple aggregates, and I am now unable to cast spells. So I feel like that's probably a despair.
Yeah,
A
probably.
little bit. Kinda. Also, I did find out that I have or had a child, right? Like, that's good.
That's pretty happy. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Kids are cool.
I literally don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, they could be dead.
They could be dead.
Shayna was trying to sort of beat around the bush, but like, they could be dead.
Yeah, they could. And that would be sad.
Yeah,
So that's
really
probably
sad.
a despair. Gosh. I don't know. Yeah, they're like, I also found out.
I mean, yeah, Calvin accomplished his goals though.
I
Like,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, as far as character arcs go, I recovered what was lost. Most certainly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Librelite wasn't non-consensually mind wiped.
That's not a joy or a despair.
No?
That's
Yeah.
a conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
What can we spend conversations on?
Therapy points.
Yay!
We can all have them.
I've been married for less than a year now, but I know that one's a conversation.
Yeah. Mhm. I've been married for nearly 3 years, so yeah.
Continues to be a conversation. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm going to award you 2 despair. And 2 joy. I think finding out you had a son was good. I think you succeeding, completing your character arcs of like, find what was lost. Which one do you think you've sort of wrapped up? Or
Recover what was lost.
recover what was lost, yeah. So take 4 acumen for finishing that as well. Get a bunch of boatload of acumen. Anything else that you think you like progressed along, or is that it?
I made some progress towards set right what is wrong, though this goal gets more daunting. Every time I get closer to it, it gets bigger.
Take 1 acumen for moving along that, because
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
And I feel like Calvin is not any closer to understanding the hate sister what it is. I feel like in that little exchange he had with Shayna, he understands more, but he also understands less.
Yes.
And like he didn't.
Didn't make net progress.
Yeah, he raised more questions than he answered. So
Yeah.
that feels like treading water.
That makes sense. Anything else you'd like to share? Also, I hope, are you feeling okay?
We'll find out
Okay.
when we have our conversation.
Okay, perfect. Shayna, how did Shayna feel about today's session?
Yeah, so Shayna has 2 character arcs. She is trying to she has 3. Learn about the Deathless Triumvirate,
Yep.
which she's basically already done. We closed that one last week, and so then she only has 2. I just didn't close that one. She has go up against the Deathless Triumvirate
Right.
and like take them down, which Shayna hasn't necessarily done specifically, but she
Right.
has gotten some sweet tools to help her with that.
True.
Yeah. And other character arc thing is learn about the motivations, sort of like what
What you fought for.
what did Shayna fight for? Yeah. And Shayna has definitely learned about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're going to I don't think you fully finished that arc, but I think
No.
you have a big step toward it. So I'm going to award 3 acumen for. I think that was some pretty major wins for understanding, and I think you have tools to make further understanding, which is great.
Now,
Talk
on the
to me
joy and
about
despair end. Yeah. So Shayna had a pretty.
It was a tough day, it seems like.
A pretty tough day all around for everybody. Shayna's already gotten some great joy out of her new smooch pal.
Yeah, that's definitely a joy.
Yeah.
And the smooch pal that is brought in from development scene into like, you know, hooking you up with super cool, dangerous chain armor.
Yeah. Everyone loves super cool, dangerous chain armor.
Yeah.
So I think that Shayna's feeling pretty bad though. Shayna is feeling kind of conflicted. Like she didn't really have much that really challenged her like sort of all-in beliefs.
Right.
But like a lot of the revelations are like about Calvin, and like things this session have begun to sort of challenge some of that. Not that like she thinks the Deathless Triumvirate or like the society as a whole is good.
Right.
But just that the things that Shayna thought were good might not necessarily be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably worth a despair as you are kind of, you're just after last session, you know, you sort of really got into a groove on the same page between the two of you, and now you're sort of, these ancient wounds are sort of maybe hitting you, as the both of you explore your pasts, you're exploring being on the other side from each other, and I think that is kind of threatening in a way.
Yeah, that is a definite despair, because like Calvin's her like new partner in crime.
Calvin came to you with a crime-related problem, and now you're gonna like time travel a wedding document. It's gonna be great.
It's an interesting. I really want Calvin and Shayna to have a conversation. Conversation. Wow. Because it's interesting that it felt like in the hate cyst, Shayna's whole thing was, well, we're gonna destroy everything here, and like. It turns out there are some good and okay things here, but Calvin has definitely seen, especially like not even just his time in Saturnine up till meeting Shayna, but definitely after meeting Shayna, that there's a lot of bad stuff here.
Yeah.
So they're both right and they're both wrong,
Yeah.
and it's a really complicated mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think you get a weird joy from the sword.
Ooh, yeah, for sure.
Fuck yeah.
You've got some weird people, your entities, there's a weird sort of joy to rediscovering, I guess, an old friend, someone to care for. You've built that connection. I think that's also a conversation, but I think in general, it felt good. It seemed to bring you joy to reunite with it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and like they were pretty quiet this session, but we're gonna be loud next one. So
cool. For surviving Dark Ball thus far, for getting for some cool development mode stuff, and for successfully raiding a changery, an ancient changery past the old wards. I'm going to call that, let's say, 4 acumen of stuff. A lot of your character arcs were related to that too. Otherwise, I'd sort of bump it up. So we will pick up. We will at least vignette like how you kooky kids escaped the Dark Ball situation, and what you did you maintain the Dark Ball as you left, and then we'll kind of have maybe some more personal scenes of like how you dealt with what stuff you do in between the 1 week you have left before the Dark Ball field comes under the Deathless Triumvirate's fortress, in case you still want to use that to directly confront the Deathless Triumvirate. You may decide you want to do other things. That would be okay. But again, you're very timed on that. So I think we're going to wrap here. So are we good? Anything else we need to say for folks?
Hey, look forward to that PDF if you're a
Yo.
backer season 1, or if you're a backer for season 2 who did the both PDFs level.
Yes.
I'm very excited about getting that into folks' hands.
Yeah.
It looks a real good.
Super cool.
All right, thanks, folks. I feel a little heartbroken this episode. So everybody, take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and have a good night.
Hug people you love. Hug yourself.
And don't forget
Love yourself.
Yeah. Good night, folks.
Night.
Stay safe in shadow.